Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How goes it? It's only three of us so far. Okay, no worries. I'm going to come back. We'll probably start at around 11:05. Let people trickle in.
Okay.
All right. Oh no, we lost some. Huh. All right. Well, I'll still wait until 11:05. How was your weekend, Nazanin? Nice. Hey, Tanya.
Hey, Jared.
How goes it?
Good. How goes it with you?
Oh, well, I'm happy with the election. I'm happy about the vaccine that's coming out. All good. Everything's good.
All good. All good.
Got me in such a good mood. I started going on runs again. So.
Oh, I like it.
Excuse my dress down attire. It was really cold out, and I was on a little bit of
so cold
run this morning.
So I missed my last two classes because I had to work on my full-time job. Sure. And I couldn't be distracted. So do I wait and make those up, or do I take them and then let you know I took them, because I'm a part of the mentor program. So Kristen has to validate that I take these classes.
That's correct. So she's going to want you to redo them when they come back around.
Okay.
But definitely talk with her. She might make an exception if you, I don't know, maybe find them on Facebook or something like that. But yes, according to the mentorship program parameters, we're supposed to do all of them. Maybe talk with her. There might be a grace on like 1 class or 2 classes. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Definitely talk with her. It's her structure. So
Okay.
send an email out to her. She's very responsive and on top of everything. So, but yes, I would recommend talking with her. You might have to just redo it when it comes back around, or she might be okay with you watching it via the Facebook Live. You can probably scroll back in history.
Right.
And find, yeah.
Okay. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
No worries. All right, everyone. So everyone's trickling in right now. I'm going to go grab a quick, I'll just get a Diet Coke so it's a little quicker. I need some caffeine in me. Now's a great time if you want. Go grab some water, so a snack, some coffee, something, whatever, and we'll get going. Once we, so this one's going to be a little bit of a longer one because I had 2 short ones previously. So let's get at it. I'll be back in the next 2 minutes or so, and I need to get the couple of things up on the screen while we're up and running. All righty, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. Get some coffee, water, drinks, whatever you need for the class. I'll be right back.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. All righty. Okay. So, hold on 1 second. Sorry. Okay. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Not all at once. I'm gonna grab my mouse real quick. So everybody knows what we're doing right now, who's been in the classes. We are doing our reporting, taking a little bit of inventory, see who's joining the class. And we're also gonna see if we're keeping up with our daily 10-4, making those phone calls and those daily connections and all that fun stuff. So let's get into it. Let's start at the top. I'm going to go, if you can see my screen, I'm going out. It's not alphabetical, but I'm just going from number 2 all the way down. Adam Nasser, how are you, my friend? You there, Adam? I think I saw you. I see you. You might be on silent.
Great.
There you go.
How are you?
I'm good, bud. How are you?
Sorry, I'm getting my coffee.
No worries.
I can I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. Okay, Adam, tell me, how was your week since Wednesday? Are you frozen? All right, I think we might be getting a little bit of a lag. I will jump back to you. Randy Graves. If there's a little bit of a lag, you can toggle your video off. You there, but yeah, no, I don't know. Randy Graves, are you on? No, okay. Michael. All right, Emery, or. Is Irene on?
I'm back. Sorry, I had a connection.
Oh, there you go. All right, Adam, go.
So I did 45 and talked to 10. It was good because like still I'm getting familiar with the Mojo and building my database. And I had we had an event gathering, let's say, and there were like 5 people. We talked about real estate. Some of them they have maybe potential friends or connections that they can give to, like pass to me. But again, this is a start. I'm starting different types of lead generation at a time. So for the best.
How's the cold calling going?
It was good, but not the best, because last week was like everybody was tensed with with elections, and nobody was.
No worries. I hear you on that. Don't worry. It's we all got a little distracted during the election process. That's for sure. Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. I don't think Randy Graves is in. I called out Michael. No Michael. All right. Emery Orr. Laura. Irene. Derek J. Edwards. Jimmy Vibert. Carolina.
Hi. I did I have 42 and 13.
42 and 13. That's awesome. That's a big jump from last time.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to harder, but I still, I need to my script is get a little bit better. We learn, when you call more people, speak to more people, you learn more. You know what to say now.
Boom! I love it. So, did you get anywhere with some of your conversations?
Yeah, I did. I did have some. Actually, it's not just calling. I met people in person, so I talked to them. I say I'm the real estate agent. So I spoke to. It's actually my friends, a couple that just moved from Maui to. That actually live in Orange County, but he say. Not right now, but next year would be interesting to buy a house. So I was like, I give my business card, talk to them like, yeah. So I have the number, the phone number too, and the email. So I would just send them some reminder.
Definitely. Absolutely. And I think, you know, once you have a chance to, I think Blake didn't have his class today. It said it was canceled when I first joined in, but get into Command, try to see if you're able to set up those smart plans, because that kind of just puts it on autopilot for you. And that way you can kind of just, you know, do little touch notifications. How you doing? How you been? Checking in, da, 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 da. And so, yeah, so somebody like that who's like a year away from even wanting to look, you know, it's just about, you know, building that relationship and just, you know, checking in with them, getting to know them personally. And yeah, good job, Carolina.
Thank you. Okay.
Sharon Jenkins. Matthew Doherty. Z. Monica Berrigan. I know Tanya's on. Tanya, how about you? How is your numbers?
Chips in my mouth. Sorry about that. I have I've reached out to about 12, connected with about 11, and I'm working with a couple buyers.
Nice. I like it. How are the buyers going? Are they active? Are they hesitant because of the election? How are they doing?
They're actively
Nice.
looking, but you know, one property they wanted to see today sold over the weekend, so stuff is moving quickly.
Yep, absolutely. You know, listen, Michael and I, who is usually in the class, Michael Kinnaman, just so you know, I would just start here where we are at number 7. He just sent me a private message. Start here at session 7, and you do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then just go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6. So no worries. We're starting in a good place. You know, the classes are designed that no matter where you start, it's a good beginning point. So thank you for asking that question. And Mike, pronounced like cinnamon. Okay, very cool. Nice. Awesome. All righty. Now this other gentleman, Michael, who's usually in the classes, him and I have a deal that we were working on. And, you know, listen, it was priced a little bit high for the market. It was at 3.3 million roughly. We went in right around asking price. I think it's going to have a very hard time appraising above that. If you look at the comps, you know, you're really looking at anywhere between 2.7 and 3.3. I mean, it's really like right there. So unfortunately, we lost that deal because, you know, we went in at asking at 3.3, but I think somebody came in with cash, or they were doing a 50% down loan or something like that. And, you know, they did an overbid of $100,000. So, you know, really it's out of the market, frankly, but they probably are not doing an appraisal contingency. So they're going to go ahead full steam ahead with that deal. And congratulations to the winners of that bid. But as an example, you know, even the, you know, higher end markets, you know, 3 million and up, they're still, you know, doing pretty well. You know, especially anything under 3 million is literally just being taken up like that. You know, it's gone before you know it. So definitely have those conversations with our buyers. The first time you have that conversation, they're going to be like, you just want me to overspend, don't you? You just want to get the thing just so you can get a sale. And, you know, hey, listen, you know, this is my recommendation. If you feel comfortable at the price that we're submitting at, by all means, let's go ahead and do it. And then if you lose out on one, they go ding, ding, ding. Oh crap. They're being serious. So, you know, unfortunately, it is the process in real estate, especially if you're working with a new client who doesn't, for example, if I'm working with a client that I've known for 10 years and they know me and they know, you know, what I'm about, and I'm, you know, the most honest person you could probably meet, they'll listen to me when I say, hey, listen, we probably need to come in a little higher.
Right.
Some newer buyers that we might be working with, they might be a little hesitant to go, all right, I trust your advice. You know, they might trust you as an agent, but they're like, I don't know. I think we can get it for lower. And even if we recommend that, sometimes we still got to write that offer a little bit, you know, lower than what we think it's going to go for. And just, you know, it's a learning experience for some of these clients. Sometimes a buyer needs to lose one to really realize the situation.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, where did I leave off? I left off on Tanya. Fatima. All right, Sunny. I know I texted you this morning, Sunny. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to you. Oh, you're not on anyway, so just kidding. Okay, Rochelle McKinney. No. Devin Martin. No, I don't think so. Cindy.
Hi, I'm here. How are you?
Hey, Cindy, I'm great. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was interesting. I'm sure everybody can say the same.
And what made yours interesting? What, did you go out and celebrate, or were you depressed?
I'm gonna stay quiet on that.
Sure.
So that way I can anyways. But
Yep.
it was interesting. I went and I saw the city a little bit because I had to go meet up with the client for my other business. And I thought it was interesting the way that everything turned out and how I was seeing people were having their rallies, I want to say. I don't know if it's a protest at this point. I don't know what's what. I was really impressed with the crowds in Beverly Hills and the crowds in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it was, and I feel like it was an atmosphere full of many highs and many lows.
Yep, absolutely. It's a, you know, listen, if you look at the electoral map right now, it looks like we have chicken pox. You know,
right?
or, you know, it's not like we have like a north versus south versus west versus east versus central versus the, you know, whatever. It's just mixed all over the place. And, you know, regardless of who you wanted to win, it's, you know, they both had record turnouts for their, you know, individual.
For their, yeah, I highly agree. And I did do some calls, but I was distracted with all the news going on and everybody like messaging, like, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you know this? Did you know that? Like the fact, I was like, wow, it was an interesting election.
Yep.
But I did make contact with one individual and she works for a real estate agent on her own. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to need you to, in order for me to present you, what I'm going to want is for you to make a presentation of how you would represent him because he's looking in for a 1031 exchange right now. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah. 1031 exchanges are always interesting. Talk to her broker about how you should handle those, but they're pretty straightforward, frankly. There's just like timelines that you have to be aware of, but yeah, they're awesome deals, frankly. Good job, Cindy. Absolutely. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Cheers. And by the by, everybody, my suggestion, rather than jumping out into the crowds and getting caught up in the hoopla, you know, I went out for a long hike. You know, I'm happy with the results, frankly. So I went out, I just, instead of celebrating or whatever, I wanted to go on a hike and reflect on what's important. And, you know, so I recommend getting out there, doing something productive, active for yourself. If celebrating is your thing, good. Just remember we're in a pandemic and don't get COVID so we can go meet our clients and stuff. So anyway, Maggie Pay. Maggie, no Maggie. All righty. Our new star student, Ellie, how are you?
Hello, here. Hello.
How goes it? How was your weekend?
Oh, good. I went wine tasting, which was good.
What winery?
Sunstone in Santa Barbara area.
Oh my gosh, I went to school in Santa Barbara.
Really good. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went, we actually had a wine tasting class in Santa Barbara because we were so close to the winery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got drunk in class. It was great.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm glad you enjoy. I recommend Santa Ynez Valley, which is very close.
What's the name?
Santa Ynez Valley. It's near Seoul.
Oh, Santa Ynez. Yeah, we were there. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's my favorite area. I love it.
Yeah.
The Wine Valley Inn whenever I go there. I love it. Great rooms.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ellie, so did you make any contacts while you were out wine?
Yes.
Nice.
No wine tasting because I couldn't make much contact, but I was strong. But I did send 50 emails. I got 15, 16 interactions with the people.
Nice.
I created a good, nice email with Justin, who is my mentor. I have a listing today to go to see some sellers. They want to sell the house in West Hills. So I'm going to meet them with them today around 5 o'clock.
Amazing.
And 3 buyers working on. So
killing it, girl. Nice.
Yeah.
And how long
Thank
have you
you.
been licensed for?
What?
How long have you been licensed for?
Oh, license for October 20.
All right. Is everybody listening up to that?
But I work in real estate before, so I keep all the contacts.
Yeah, well, still. The point is, though, is always being in contact with people, and
Yes.
you're surprised at the fruits of your labor. All right, so I think I missed a few people. If I missed you, please speak up so I can make sure I got you written down. If you're in the mentorship program, I want to give you credit. So who did I miss on here? All right, well, I'll just go ahead and do it myself. Michael Kinnaman. How goes it, buddy?
Hi. Yeah, good. Well, I just joined actually Wednesday, so I'm still doing the onboarding stuff.
Perfect.
But I'm not part of the mentorship program. I'm doing the coaching program, I guess, with Jacob.
Cool.
Justin Jacobson, yeah.
Nice. Do you want to write down what your expectations of yourself are? Just so you know what we're doing right now is we have over here, if you can see my screen on the spreadsheet, over here we're doing per day contacts, which equate to our per week goals of how many contacts we're going to make. And then every single class, we go ahead and we go into the calls made and the actual contact. And it's just our way to just, keep everybody accountable. It helps our business, to talk about it. Everybody here is learning, whether they are a returning agent or, just been licensed. And it's a great way to just kind of keep in touch. So if you were to guess, how many people per day would you be willing to either send a text message out to, pick up the phone and call, send an email, and have a discussion about real estate with?
Well, I guess just getting started, I have to figure out. I don't know, let's say 10.
Beautiful. That is our running baseline for most of us.
So yeah, I mean, when I signed on, I did a couple of things. I did on Instagram. Actually, a friend posted that they were moving to Los Angeles, so I DM'd them. So I guess that would count as a contact. And a friend of mine who's currently selling a home has an agent. Just let him know that I'm licensed now too. So.
Beautiful. 2 for 2, 100%. I love it. Very good job, man. Very, very happy to have you joining us. All right. David Babajuni.
Yeah, I don't know if my mic is working. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Is my mic working?
It's working. It was working.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Very good.
I just got my license. It's glitchy.
Congratulations. So how many contacts per day would you be willing to make?
I'm planning on 10. I've already contacted many people. I've been doing this for let's say about 2 months now before I got my license. So I've been trying to reach out to quite a few people already.
Nice.
And I've got a lot of people that are interested in, they're all looking for off-market stuff because they've seen everything on the market and on the MLS.
Nice.
So it's a bit of a finding a needle in the haystack for these buyers, and there are a lot of them are very high-end, luxurious home buyers.
Yeah, frankly, I'm going through that right now as well. I'm working with a gentleman who's typically in our classes, by the name of Michael, and he has some pretty high-end buyers, but they have the same thing. They've seen everything that has been on the market, and everything we send them, they're like, we've seen it before. So if it's almost like if it's been on the market in the last 2 years, they've probably seen it. I'm realizing.
Exactly. There's I got a buyer that's looking for something on the flats. Seen everything. There was one off market on Camden, and it's been listed 2 years ago, and apparently he's already known the floor plan before I even mentioned the number of the house. So it's like, there's not enough out there. So I'm trying to see if I can find anything, and they're like willing to pay up to $7 million, and that would be a great purchase.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, my clients can go up to 18, if you can believe it. And same issue. They want the flats, they want this, they want that, but it just seems like there's nothing on there that they're really interested in. But it's also funny that people in that price range also want a deal for everything. It's like, I can go up to 18, but I want a $24 million house for 18, or
exactly,
or an $18 million house for 15. And it's like, this isn't the market for you, unfortunately.
It's funny. Lee Ziff has a house on Alpine listed.
Yeah.
And my buyer was looking for a $16 million house, and she called that a teardown, which was really I was like slapped in the face with that one.
Yep.
I'm like, are you kidding me? That's a beautiful house. And
we might be talking about the same.
That's what I'm dealing with.
Nice. It happens. Very good, man. Very cool. So I got you down for 10 for 10 for the contacts, and we'll keep up next class on Monday if you're around.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Masa. Masa's iPhone. Go once. Going twice. Sold. All righty. So I think that's everybody on the call. Thank you all for reporting your numbers. Good stuff. I would like to add just something really quickly for the upcoming months. We are entering the fall and winter seasons. Typically in Los Angeles, a lot of buyer interest kind of wavers around these times. I would like to point out, though, that the California Association of Realtors and National Association of Realtors are not predicting that to happen necessarily like it normally does. Why is that? A lot of the families that usually are getting ready to go on, winter vacation, for whatever, all that kind of stuff, they're not doing as much traveling. So they're actually staying in, they're still home. The kids are taking a little bit of a break from their Zoom classes. They think that it's still an opportunity to go out and look. So typically, in the winter months, come November, there's a 8 to 11% buyer interest decrease. That's just annually. Whenever the November comes around, it just happens, and it's because of holidays and stuff like that. With an election year, typically it goes down to 15% buyer decrease. The amount of buyers that are in the market decreases by almost 15%. Now, we have not seen that, though, this year, which is kind of surprising. We had a little bit of a hiatus during the last week or so because people were glued to the television. But what we're seeing actually is the buyer pool is still staying strong. The listings are still being snatched up, like no other. So keep in mind that this year may be an amazing breakout opportunity for all you new agents who are, trying to pick away at new leads and stuff like that. So stay in action, stay focused throughout the upcoming months. I think it'll pay off in dividends. For example, right now I have 4 listings. I'm in 2 escrows, and I just sent out a $3 million purchase offer, but unfortunately I just talked to the agent. We didn't get it. So the point is, though, is I'm the busiest I've been all summer and it's the fall months. So what does that say? People are still active. Get out there, get involved, all good stuff. And I'm also double ending one of the deals. So I'm seeing a huge uptick in business, frankly. So if you have winter vacation plans to travel, make sure you bring your laptop with you. So anyway, thank you all. Thank you all. We are going to go ahead and right into it. This is Ignite number 7. And it is all about find and win buyers, which is actually perfect for this conversation. So we're talking about finding and winning buyers over. And right now is a great opportunity to do that. We are getting started. We just reported our numbers for our daily 10-4. And if can somebody remind me, somebody who's been in the classes, what is our daily 10-4? I'm looking for maybe Tanya. Could you help us out? Oh, I think you're on mute. There you
go. 10 listings, 10 calls a day. Review 10 properties.
No worries, I got you. Okay, so you got the most important one though first. So we want to make 10 contacts a day. So it's not just a call. We want to have a two-way conversation. Something about real estate. It could be as vague as, hey, how's everything? Oh, everything's great. Hey, listen, I got a couple, things going on right now. Hey, are you looking for a house by any chance? Oh, no, I'm not. Hey, no problem. Just let me know when you're ready. So, hey, how are the kids? That's a contact. That's talking about real estate. So it could be as simple as that, but we want to at least have 10 conversations relating to real estate with new people sometimes, or just your sphere of influence or past clients. So it's 10 contacts a day, adding 10 new contacts into our database per day. We want to write 10 thank you notes to whoever we talked to the day prior, perhaps. Maybe it's somebody's birthday coming up. Maybe it's someone's anniversary. We can find 10 people to write a letter to regardless. So that's not just part of the contacts. Remember, contacts are a two-way conversation. The notes are you can just send it out and it's one way. So 10 contacts a day, 10 contacts added to our database, and then 10 notes sent out. And the last one is per week, we want to preview 10 properties. So what does that mean in COVID-19 times? Doesn't necessarily have to be viewing it in person. It could also just be looking at the MLS, seeing what's new, what's changed, what's gone into escrow, whatever it might be, staying up on top of your farm so you are an area expert for when somebody reaches out to you. You know the numbers, you know the stats. So very good, everybody. Thank you, Tanya. So action revealed.
Question. Sorry to interrupt. When you say writing out letters, I got the email today regarding the discount for like the stationery, the name badges and the signages and all that jazz. My question is, how much do you recommend getting the stationery or when you write out those letters, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
So I wish I had it with me right now, which I don't, because it's in my office. Anyway, so the stationery that I have, it's just a card basically. And the front of the card has like a nice little modern design. There's a white strip that goes across that has my business logo on it, which is KWJM, the KW symbol, and then JM written in like kind of like a cursive kind of looking handwriting. And that's my logo. So it's just a card with my logo on it. And on the interior of the card, when you open it up, it just says, "From the desk of Jared Marcus Medlinski." And that's my card. So it's nothing too special. It's nothing jazzy. It's just pretty basic. So that's what I have. How important is it? Not very, frankly. It's a nice little touch for branding purposes. But when you're just starting out, you can take, computer paper, just make like something in Microsoft Word with your name, Cynthia. It just says C, but I think it's Cynthia or Cindy, sorry. And it just, from the desk of Cindy or whatever, from whatever, what have you. It doesn't have to be too super crazy or involved. Okay. And just get in the habit of doing it. And, sending a regular plain letter mail, and just sending it out. People will read it. People will open it. People will love it. So
thank you.
Answer to that. When you're just starting, I think you should spend the least amount of money possible wherever you can. So that's my opinion. If you got a little bit of money stacked up on the side, feel free to do some personal branding. But in my opinion, the personal branding just distracts you from what you really should be doing, which is getting out there, having two-way conversations with people, talking about real estate, and building relationships and building rapport. That will get you more business than personal branding.
Thank you.
Anytime. Hey, Jared, Sunny, thanks for being late. Okay, no worries, Sunny. It's all good. 9 and 4. Thank you for sending that to me. Sunny just sent me a private email. And hey, everybody, just go ahead and put it in the group chat so it doesn't look like I'm, crazy and talking to myself. But thank you for sending me that, Sunny. That's awesome. I will go ahead and update that on my end. 1 second, everybody. I just want to give Sunny credit for the day. 9 and 4 and boom, ba-da-dum, boom, boom, 7. All right, thank you, Sunny. Okay, where were we? Sorry, 1 second. Let me get back to the screen I was on. Let me share, let me make sure I'm sharing the right stuff. There we go. Okay, so anyway, action reveal. So the first thing that we get into every single class is our action reveal. It goes over a daily 10-4 contacts. How many did you make? How many note cards did you send out? How many stats did you research? It also talks about bringing your laptop. Obviously, we all have our laptop or phone on us and stuff like that. So very good stuff. And for everybody in the chat box, I added today's lesson. Can you send class materials for this week's class? Yes, absolutely. So if you were a little bit late, I'll go ahead and add it again to the chat. Everyone in meeting, boom. Okay, so let's take a second for everybody to bring that up real quick. So it's in the chat box. I just added the stuff for today's class. Give me 1 second. I have a phone call coming in and I want to take that phone out of this room. 1 second, y'all. Hello, this is Jared. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. All right. So here we are. Where were we? Okay. I need to go get up my stuff real quick, actually. So did anybody have any big aha moments from the past week? Did you have any interesting conversations that you want to share with the class? Anybody have new offers that they sent out? Anything like that? We're just rock stars. I love it. Perfect. Okay, so So today's expectations and what we're going to be going over is we're going to be talking about finding buyers, qualify and schedule buyers for a consultation, educate your buyers and set service expectations, which is very, very important. Learn and practice your buyer consultation, which is also just as important as a listing presentation. You want to do a buyer consultation as well. A lot of people are a little bit casual with their buyers and they're just like, oh, I'm happy to show you some houses, get in my car, we'll go around and we'll show you some stuff. But I think it actually pays dividends if we take a second just to pause, slow down the process a little bit, and just have a really thorough conversation with your buyers, whether it be on a Zoom meeting, in person at our office, at a Starbucks, whatever it might be. And just go through a full buyer consultation, finding out what their needs are, what their priorities are, what the market is showing for them to kind of understand. Because a lot of buyers, they get information from their friend, their Aunt Tilly, their cousin, their brother, their mom and dads, the stranger from the grocery store, Zillow, which is even worse than all 6 of the other ones. So they're going to have a bunch of ideas of what's happening in the market, but us as professional realtors really actually have a real understanding. So we want to have a real, frank, honest, professional conversation with them. Ask for the buyer agreement to be signed. This is very important when you're working with buyers. if they see something on Zillow and go ahead and click all of a sudden and make an appointment with a listing agent, you might be losing your buyer. So we want to try and get them to sign an exclusive buyer representation agreement. And then
quick question, sorry to interrupt you. When is good to sign the contract with the buyers?
Oh gosh, first day.
What is the time where, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just, because I have 3 people, so I need to know exactly when is the right time to do it.
Have you ever seen the movie Glenn Ross? No? Okay,
No.
So there's a very famous scene in the movie, and it's always be closing. A, always, B, closing. B, C, closing. Always be closing. Glenn Ross. Hold on, I might even try to play the scene. It'd be fun, always be closing. Do you all want to see kind of a funny little scene about, nah, I won't do it right now. Okay, anyway, but you know what, I will, screw it. But it's true. It is absolutely true for everyone. So we're gonna go a little bit off script right now, and we're gonna watch Alec Baldwin talk about sales. Wait, that's not what it was supposed to be. Sorry. Oh, it's an ad. Sorry, we gotta get through the ad.
The rich get richer, that's the law of the land. Who belongs to the BM? Let me have your attention for a moment. Because you're talking about what? You're talking about bitching about that sale you shot. Some son of a bitch don't want to buy land. Somebody don't want what you're selling. Some broad you're trying to screw. So
sorry, it's going to be some bad language in this movie. So just keep in mind it's about sales, and I'll try to get up to a little more of the meat and potatoes.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. You think I'm fucking with you? I am not fucking with you. I'm here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Your name's Levine. Yeah. You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch? I don't gotta listen to this shit. You certainly don't, pal, because the good news is you're fired. The bad news is you've got just 1 week to regain your job, starting with tonight. Starting with tonight's sit. Oh, have I got your attention now? Good. Because we're adding a little something to this month's sales contest. As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired. You get the picture? You laughing now? You got leads. Mitch and Murray paid good money. Get their names to sell them. You can't close the leads you're given. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out. The leads are weak. The leads are weak. Fucking leads are weak. You're weak. I've been in this business 15 years. What's your name? Fuck you. That's my name. You know why, mister? Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my name.
Let's skip over this part.
A, B, C. A, always B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing. AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action. Attention, do I have your attention? Interest, are you interested? I know you are, because it's fuck or walk. You close or you hit the bricks. Decision, have you made your decision for Christ? And action. AIDA. Get out there. You got the prospects coming in. You think they came in to get out of the rain? A guy don't walk on the lot lest he wants to buy. They're sitting out there waiting to give you their money. Are you going to take it? Are you man enough to take it?
All right, so I'm gonna leave it right there. The point was, I forgot how insulting that video is, frankly. But the question is, when do we ask for the sale? When do we ask for the listing agreement? When do we ask for the buyer agreement? And no, he's a little bit abrasive, frankly. And I forgot how abrasive he was in that scene, frankly. But the point is, always ask for it. Whenever you have somebody in front of you, whenever you're working with a buyer, if you know that they're interested in purchasing, the conversation should then change to, okay, great. So I'm happy to show you a lot of these houses. They all look amazing, but it's going to take a lot of work for me to do this. And I'm just wondering, would you be willing to sign an exclusive buyer representation agreement? And if you do, I promise I will give you my undivided attention until we find the home of your choosing. And usually they're going to say yes, but the truth of the matter is, if you don't ask the question, you'll never get the answer. They're not going to just electively say, oh, by the by, is there something we should sign? They're just going to kind of, run the wheels with you. So in my opinion, Cindy, the main thing is you should always, be willing to ask the question. So the next time you meet with your buyers, and for example, you show them a property and they go, it's not really exactly the one we were thinking of. Great, no problem. Hey, listen, we've seen a couple properties together. Would it be all right if I sent you an exclusive buyer representation agreement? In this agreement, it basically just states that I'm working for you and you're agreeing to work with me. And, see what they say. If they do say, I don't really feel comfortable with that, just be like, great, just out of curiosity, why don't you feel comfortable signing a buyer agreement with me? And, they'll go, well, my cousin has their license as well. So I wanted to give him a shot, to show me some properties. Oh, okay. So you're working with other agents. I see. If you were in my shoes, would you want to, work with somebody who isn't really committed to you? That's an advanced conversation to have, frankly. So I don't know if I'd go there yet, but, don't be afraid to ask for it. And if at first you say no, that's okay. Keep moving forward. A lot of people in California won't sign them, but always ask for it. And, you never know what might come across, some
May
of them.
I share something?
Yes.
Regarding that, I know this is Ileana's question, but it's a good question because during this week, I've had a conversation reaching out to people, letting them know that I'm in the industry now. And my friend told me that our mutual friend was looking for a house, and she started looking. She made a deal. There was no money involved yet, but she never made her sign a contract. Long story short, she ended up buying a house around, oh my God, I forgot where, but anyways, she found a house and she ended up getting it through for sale by owner. My agent friend never got it signed. So she wasted a lot of time. She wasted a lot of negotiating. And then now that it's for sale by owner, the buyer is calling the agent asking for help with certain paperwork. And she's like, I'll even pay you. And she's like, I can't do that because I'm not representing you. And it's illegal also because there's a lot of things that I don't know what's going on their end.
Right.
So she ended up being really upset because she lost out. She feels as if she did herself an injustice because the other agent for the first deal, it didn't fall through, and she feels like she made herself look bad when she was in negotiations and all that jazz. I think he froze. So any words of wisdom on that?
I think Jared is frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Cindy. I texted you.
Oh, you did? I didn't get it.
Yeah, I sent you the links for the class.
Oh, thank you. No, I never got it.
All right, call me later so we can chat.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting story and I thought I'd share it with you guys. And Ileana, congratulations on your sales. Like I was in school with this girl and she's been killing
No sales yet, hopefully soon.
Well, you're doing it, honey. That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. You helped me a lot.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Am I still on, everybody? Sorry. I think I'm good.
You're good now.
Yeah, my computer died. I apologize. Sorry about that. Thank you, Alfredo. Anyway, where were we? Sorry about that. My computer died.
I was telling you about my friend that lost a deal to a listing and she feels bad that she doesn't look right with the agent that she was in negotiations with because of our mutual friend that went and got a house for sale by owner and was asking for help with paperwork. And she told her no because she's not representing her and she doesn't want to put her license at risk and all that jazz.
Gotcha. Alfredo? Hey, can you make me host again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Take your time, no problem. So yeah, that's a good point. You know, I've had situations where I was working with somebody, just very similar situation, and they just walked into an open house and wrote an offer without me. And they even called me, they were like super excited. And I was just like, why are you excited? Like, I can't represent you now. And they're like, wait, well, no, why can't you represent me? I'm like, because you wrote the offer with the other agent. And that was a huge lesson for me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I need to just have that frank conversation with them. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little uncomfortable asking for the business. I don't know what it is about it. Like it feels kind of pushy for me sometimes. But it's a necessity that we kind of have to do in this business. You know, for example, you sign a listing with a seller. Why are you signing that listing? Because you're promising to that seller that you're going to give them their undivided attention. You're going to represent their house, and as far as the marketing goes, negotiate on their behalf. Do all the heavy lifting for them. Why would you sign, something for a buyer? In my opinion, it's even more important to sign a listing agreement with a buyer's agent, because there are a lot of tips and tricks that are involved in the process of purchasing a home. When you're representing a buyer, you need to understand the contingency periods. You need to understand what the consequences are of, closing those contingency periods. And then what happens if something happens with the loan? What happens if, I closed my investigation contingency period. Oh, by the by, we just read something in the report, and lo and behold, there's a structural issue. Now I want to pull out. Well, now the earnest money deposit is at risk. So my thing that I'm trying to get at is have these. That's why the buyer presentation is so important. When you go over the buyer presentation, you also will discuss the steps of what happens in the escrow process. You'll discuss the things that you might want to be aware of prior to going into escrow. You'll be able to have an opportunity to answer any questions that your first-time buyer or experienced buyer may need a refresher on. But any questions that they might have, you'll be able to answer them. And then more importantly, once you've gone through that and basically without them realizing you're giving them a value proposition, you then go, so I'm going to do all of this for you. And because I'm doing all of this, I typically like to ask all of my buyers, because it's a very time-intensive process to work with buyers, that they sign what's called an exclusive buyer representation agreement. And all that basically says is, is I'm going to 100% work for you and your best interest, and that you just agreed to work with me as your agent. Sounds pretty fair? And they're like, yeah, sounds fair. Great. Here's the buyer representation agreement. Please just sign right here. It's just a couple signatures. And with that said, we're off to the races. Can't wait to close an escrow with you. And, you know, instead of it being like a pressure kind of situation, you've already basically presented yourself as an industry expert, somebody who's looking after their best interests as a fiduciary, and ensuring that whatever, you know, escrow that they enter into, it's going to be handled professionally. And, you know, any potential, you know, issues that might arise, they're going to be taken care of because you're representing them. Make a lot of sense? Yes.
Can you put a link to the agreement in the chat so I can send it to my people?
Yes, well, it's in zip form, so I don't know if I could send a link to the agreement necessarily.
Okay, I'll go to zip forms.
Yeah, it's in zip form. Just type in buyer representation and it should pop up.
Okay, thank you.
I have another quick question. Why wouldn't someone want to feel comfortable signing that buyer agreement?
Good question. So a lot of people feel that realtors are not necessary. And what does it matter if you write an agreement with the listing agent or a buyer's agent? So, sorry, I'm just a little cold. I'm going to put on my jacket again. Okay, so if you've purchased a house before, and let's say you've purchased multiple houses, you might be savvy enough to approach the listing side and say, hey, listen, if I write an offer through you, I know that you're going to get both sides of the deal. To make my offer seem a little bit more competitive, would you be willing to reduce your commission by 0.5% or a full percent? That way you represent both sides, you make a little bit more money, and then plus my deal looks a little bit more attractive to your sellers because they're saving a little bit on the commission side. And a lot of the times the real estate agent who's the listing side will say, absolutely, I will do that. And they smile all the way to the bank. So to answer your question, some people who are in the purchasing process might feel comfortable enough to be able to understand the RPA because they've done it before a few times. They might feel comfortable enough to negotiate on their own behalf with a listing agent. And that's why, frankly. So a lot of the times, and even people who are first-time buyers might hear from their uncle, whatever, from Massachusetts that, RPA, it's boilerplate. It's easy. Just go to the listing agent and get them to reduce their commission to make your offer seem a little bit higher. And they hear that and they're like, oh, okay, great. But here's the thing. They don't realize they have an opportunity to get money off on the deal during the investigation period. They don't realize, you know, the pitfalls of, you know, the different, you know, contingency periods for that matter. They might not realize that they could ask their lender, hey, you know, this is a really, really competitive house. There's, you know, 16 offers on the table. Lender of mine, would you be able to close within 10 days? Some lenders can do that. I have a couple lenders who can close in 10 days. You know, so my point is that a lot of buyers don't realize how complicated the process can be and don't realize how important it is to have their own representation on a deal. And then another thing that I like to mention to a lot of first-time buyers is, you know, when you're going over to that listing agent and you're asking them to write an offer for you, whose best interest do they have at heart? Is it yours? Is it their sellers? Is it theirs? What do you think it is? Technically, it's supposed to be both, but the first contract that was signed was with the seller. So technically speaking, you might be a little more inclined to protect their listing, the listing side a little bit more. And frankly, that's why a lot of listing agents, even when they're quote unquote double ending, they'll ask another agent in their office to represent the buyer side. And they have like a little, you know, backroom deal between the two of them. And, you know, hey, I'll give you 50% of the commission if you represent my buyer, but I get, you know, the other 50%. So whatever it might be, but they do that sometimes to, you know, make, you know, clear up the waters a little bit. So they have their own representation. I do that, frankly. If it's a very savvy buyer, if it's like a lawyer or something, there's no way I'm going to double end that deal. I'm going to go, hey, you know, Derek Edwards in my office, I got this deal. It's all teed up. Can you represent the buyer on this? It's a lawyer. You know, I don't want to look like I'm
absolutely.
There we go. I don't want to look like I'm double ending it and have him go, well, you're not acting as a fiduciary, so I'm suing you. So anyway, Cindy, to answer your question though, some people just feel that they're savvy enough to represent themselves and their own negotiations. Just going to be honest, that's pretty much what it comes down to. And then also a lot of the times the buyer will think that they can get a deal if they allow the listing agent to represent them.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. But again, there's reasons why they should have their own representation. And what I usually like to say is, you know, listen, the selling agent signed a listing agreement with the seller. They have a fiduciary responsibility to look after the seller's best interest. Whose interest do you think that they're looking for when you write a contract through them? It's probably not going to be yours. So usually I'm able to convince somebody to sign an exclusive buyer representation with me just by having that simple conversation. And then if there needs to be further conversation, then, you know, I go into, well, you know, what are you going to do about the contingency periods? Are you going to keep it at 17 days or are you going to reduce it down to a 10-day contingency period? Oh, why? Well, if you want to do your investigations, you can take a full 17 days. But I'm telling you right now, what's very standard in your market is about 10 days. And then plus, you're going to have to find somebody who can do a property inspection. Do you have any inspectors that you have readily available? Oh, you don't? Well, I have 6 that I could recommend to you. You know, your lender, have you talked to your lender? Do you know what their closing period is? Do they need a full 30 days or could they do it in 20 days? That could make this a much more attractive offer if we have that conversation ahead of time. Oh, you didn't and you weren't aware of that? Well, great. So, you know, you're building a case for why you're important. But I don't like to get into the situation where I'm trying to defend why I'm so important for them. That's why, which we're going to go over later in class, the buyer consultation is so important. It is a very, very clean and easy way to explain why you are, you know, frankly, the best person to work with in the transaction.
Is there a script for someone to learn how to make this not a training session? Because I've noticed that a lot of people will ask questions and then I feel like sometimes, not in this business, but I don't know if I haven't experienced it yet, like if you're starting to train them now on how to do certain things, because I could see like, well, how do you go about this? And like you just said, the contingencies, the inspectors, the appraisers, all that jazz. Is there like a script from not having to go so further into detail?
Well, we'll find out in the class. You know, there are some scripts in this class that we're going to go over. But I would say that what my main script is just the buyer presentation. And it's just, you know, really going over it and just gaining their trust and just kind of showing, you know, that you're listening, that you're on their side, you're taking, you know, all their considerations into your calculations of what's, you know, appropriate for them and stuff like that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but to me, I love getting into the training, so to speak. You know, I like to actually get deep into the nitty gritty with my clients so they know that they're being represented by somebody who's knowledgeable.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're going to find some scripts going on in this class right now. And let me just bring up what I had on my, hold on. There's that. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, 1 second, please. I just want to get my, where did it go? Okay, today's expectations. Let me just make sure this is the correct class. Number 7, perfect. Okay, so today's expectations. We are past that, and now we are getting into some scripts for calling renters and first-time home buyers. Okay, so on page 9, if we go to page 9, everyone, we are going to go over some scripts I'm gonna, well, I don't think many people are cold calling renters, frankly. So let's go to the newlyweds on this. And if I can have Ellie, do you have the information in front of you? I know you printed it out ahead of time.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, loud and clear.
Okay, great.
So
Okay.
we're on page 9, newlyweds.
Yes, renters, option 1. Hi, hi somebody. My name is Eliana with Keller Williams Realty, and I was wondering if you have considered buying a home for yourself or your family sometime in the near future. Owning a home is a goal for most people and continues to be a good investment.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm doing it back with you.
Okay. Have you wondered about the cost and the process to get into a home of your own? I have found that some people don't think they can afford to buy their own home and that they may be able to buy a home for almost the same amount as they are paying in monthly rent. I would love to sit down with you and explain the process of owning your own home. It's not obligation on your part. Would you like to meet tomorrow for 15 minutes?
Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, so thank you very much, Ellie. That was awesome. So Ellie, I'm gonna do renter option 2. This time I'm gonna be the real estate agent, and Ellie, you be the person I'm calling. How does that sound? Okay, so here we go. Hi, is this Ellie?
Yes.
Hi, Ellie, my name's Jared Medlinski. I'm with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills, and I was wondering when you'll be ready to stop paying your landlord and start paying yourself. Can I explain?
Okay.
All right, I know. It's an interesting intro, I'm sure. But listen, I help people buy homes, and I found that a lot of people don't think that they can afford to buy their own home, and that they may be able to buy a home for almost the same amount as they're paying for a monthly rent. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Good, I thought so. So listen, I'd love to sit down with you and explain the process of owning your own home. It's no obligation on your part. Would you like to meet tomorrow for 15 minutes?
Okay.
Great. And then
very easy. You got a very easy buyer.
Yeah. Yes. So now, a lot of these scripts are great, and I love them, but they don't account for what if it goes wrong. What if they go, no, I don't want to do that. So let's try that one more time. Ellie, you'll be the person. You'll go, I don't know about that, and then I'll try to see if I can vamp and kind of go down the line. Hi, okay. Is this Ellie?
Yes.
Hi, Ellie. My name is Jared Medlinski. I actually got your number from a couple neighbors of yours. And listen, I'm just calling because I was wondering if you'd like to stop paying your landlord and start paying yourself.
I don't know what you mean. Why many people is calling me about this?
Well, because I know for a fact that you're renting right now for $2,900 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. And if I were able to show you that with a loan, you'd be able to purchase a house of the equivalent style, similar size, a condo, and instead of paying your landlord, you'd be paying a mortgage and actually building equity for yourself.
Okay, that sounds good, but all the process to buy the home is gonna take a lot of time and more money than the money I have right now.
Listen, time is the only thing that we do have, which is the most amazing part. And if it takes us a month, 2 months, 3 months, it doesn't matter. I just like to help people such as yourself become a little bit more educated about the market and the opportunities that are presented to them.
And what about if they don't give me the loan?
Well, if they don't give you a loan, then you know what you need to do for the next year, 2 years to settle your financials and eventually approve for that. Listen, what I like to think is if you're a year away from buying a house, even if you weren't thinking about it, it's a really good opportunity to speak with a lender, talk about the process so you educate yourself. Because whenever I find that people are a little bit uncertain about something, it's just due to a lack of understanding. And I'm happy to walk with you down that path and show you what your options are. How does that sound?
Okay, sounds better.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'd love to meet with you. How's tomorrow? We can meet for about 15 minutes.
I don't have time to meet. I'm scared of COVID and the virus.
Hey, listen, I am too. I was going to actually suggest wearing N95 masks, but lucky for you, what we can do is we can actually just do a Zoom meeting. Does that feel a little bit better for you?
Okay, sounds
Great.
better.
How about today around 4 o'clock, 15 minutes?
No, I feel you're pushing me too much. I will call you back.
Okay, sounds pretty good. Ellie, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'll just send you a text message just to kind of, you know, see if you're open to meeting again.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Have a great day. Cheers. So,
bye.
Bye. Now, we did.
Hey, Jared, quick question for you. Would that be a good time to talk about the app too, to get them a little, you know, show them some properties ahead of time?
Boom, dude. Oh my gosh. Taking off my teacher hat and giving it to you. Yes, that would have been a great opportunity for that. Thank you for reminding me. So right there, Derek, thank you so much. What I could have done, or maybe even should have done, is to said, hey, Ellie, great. You know what? I understand that you feel a little bit pushed and this is a little bit sudden. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just send you a text message with my information and also send you an app that you can look for homes, get pre-approved with a lender, and kind of start the beginning process of what you're doing. And so, Derek, you're very right. That was a perfect example. So yes, we should definitely be sending our app out at in that moment in time. Now, what did I do there? I was talking with Eliana about buying a house for the first time. And with each thing that she had an objection to, I had a little bit of a twist to it to try to get her to be a little bit more agreeable. And why did I do that? And why at the end, maybe I was a little bit too pushy. You know, frankly, we've got the check marks of what we need. We know that she's at least interested. We know that she could be potentially actionable. And now we are setting the expectation that we've already talked about that. And then my next follow-up text message would be something along the lines of, Ellie, thank you so much for the conversation. As we discussed, I'm really excited to help you whenever you're ready. You mentioned that you were interested in understanding what the process would look like. Whenever you're ready, please feel free to give me a call, text. Then I put her on a follow-up campaign in Command, I forget what it's called, but the touch campaigns, the smart plans. And literally she'll get an email, a text message, you know, it'll remind me to give her a phone call, maybe even a handwritten note. So I can follow up with her. And, you know, frankly, you know, the way I look at it is, I don't know if anybody had been recruited by Josh Spitzin. He called me 3 or 4 different times before I agreed to meet with him. You know, the first time he called, I was like, come on, I don't want to, I'm not changing brokerages. Come on, what's a brokerage going to do that I can't get at my current brokerage? But eventually he was so persistent that I actually respected it. And it wasn't that he was being pushy. He was coming from a place of contribution. And that's why I was like, you know what? What's coffee? You know, guy seems nice. I like the way he sounds on the phone. Doesn't hurt to meet, you know, the CEO of another brokerage and a bigger brokerage, frankly. So sure enough, I went ahead and I met with him and we had the conversation. He gave me a value proposition that showed that Keller Williams was a clear, you know, place for me to go. And sure enough, I switched brokerages and it was the best decision I ever made. So point that I'm trying to make is when we're reaching out and cold calling these clients, these renters, these newlyweds, these whatever, we want to come from a place of contribution. So even if we can't successfully get that meeting that moment, we'll go ahead and we'll be like, great, I'll follow up with you next week. No problem. And guess what? They're going to be getting a follow-up email, text, call from me for the next, you know, 36 weeks. So, you know, eventually they're going to break, in my opinion. It's almost like, you know, asking a girl out on a date. The first time you ask her on a date, she's, blow you off. Second time, blow you off. Third time, okay, fine, I'll give them a shot. So, you know, guys, girls, you know, just think of it like dating. You know, our clients are our prospects or whatever. So send those text messages, just follow up once a week. If they start getting a little bit like, stop texting me, start emailing them instead. And, you know, just keep up with the contacts and just remind them that you're there to help. And always come from a place of contribution, not a place of, come on, work with me. Don't you want to work with me? Like, that's not the way it works. You want to be like, well, I'd love to help you. You know, I'd love to show you this. I'd love to, you know, show you that. The last time we spoke, you mentioned this. I'd love to show you about that. You know, always keep that in mind. So very good, everyone. That was awesome. Derek Edwards, do you have the material up? Mr. Derek Edwards, are you there?
Oh yeah. Hey, sorry, man. I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Perfect.
Hey, Jared, can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, for sure. Is that Matthew
thanks.
Doherty?
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I started a new job today. I had to do orientation this morning, so just getting here right now.
All good, brother. I'll be sure to hold on. Let me give you credit for today's class.
Cool. Right on. How's your weekend?
Oh, freaking awesome. I was
stellar. Nice.
I was ecstatic. I'm a staunch Biden supporter, so I was really, really happy.
Oh yeah, that was great, man. That was awesome.
But I don't want to make anybody feel bad in this if you voted for Trump. So,
I mean, I respect everybody's right to believe whatever they want to believe, and you know.
Totally. Okay, so
sort of.
nice. So, Derek, are you in a place where you can do a little role play right now?
Can you give me like a few minutes? Sorry.
No worries, David. Yeah, absolutely, Derek. No worries. Matthew Doherty, can you see my screen?
Give me 1 second, though.
Sure.
I'm like just getting situated.
No worries, brother.
Okay, so what you're highlighting right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Let's do a two-way thing. I'll be the person you're calling.
Okay.
And try to do the pauses appropriately, and I'll respond back.
Okay. Hello, my name is Matthew Doherty with Keller Williams Beverly Hills Realty. I'm calling you today. What's that?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Matthew Doherty with Keller Williams Beverly Hills Realty.
Oh, hi. What's up, bud?
Not too much. Just giving you a call today, first and foremost, because I heard you recently got married and I wanted to congratulate you first off.
Oh, wow.
And second to see, you're welcome. And second to see if you consider buying a new home, or if you already own a home, what about buying an investment property?
Huh. You know, funny. Sorry, do you know my friend Garrett or something like that?
No.
Oh, wow. I was just talking to somebody about that. Well, either way, yeah,
This must be fate.
It must be. We were just talking about it yesterday, actually, my wife and I. We actually are starting to look at a home.
Okay, well, I'd love to sit down with the both of you because I'm sure that she probably makes the decisions and explain the process of owning your home, a new home or an investment property. There's no obligation on your part. Do you think you could set aside maybe 15 minutes for me tomorrow?
Sure. I'm sorry, Matthew. Who is this again? From where?
Matthew Doherty, Keller Williams Realty in Beverly Hills.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, sure. 15 minutes tomorrow around 4 o'clock would be all right.
Yeah, we can pencil that in. And because you're newlywed, you typically know other newlyweds or others who are getting married who haven't bought a home yet. And you'd be doing them a great service by introducing us to each other, letting me talk to them for 5 minutes to share with them the opportunity of owning their own home or an investment property.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Perfect.
Sweet.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to do the same thing with you, Matthew, right now. You'll be the other person. Ask me similar questions. Who is this? How do you know? And I'll try to see if I can vamp, because I think there's a couple little points that you can make, that we can all make in this, excuse me, not just you, but we can all make, that's not written into the script.
Sure.
And these are just real life scenarios that I have used that have been very, 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 very effective. And how is it that we're getting newlyweds contact info? Title. We're getting it through title. We're getting it through county records. We're getting it through stuff like that.
So if you're saying title, then they already own a home though, right? At least one.
Yes. Now that could be the case. Now they could also look up, divorces, newlyweds. There's ways of finding stuff out online to find leads for newlywed people and stuff like that. So let's go into this again real quick. I'll be the realtor. You'll be the person I call. Hey, is this Matthew?
It is.
Matthew, hi. My name is Jared Medlinski. I'm with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. First and foremost, I wanted to.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that last part. Who are you with?
Oh, sure. Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. I'm a real estate agent.
Okay.
Probably not. Very good. Thank you so much. Probably not the congratulations you were expecting, but I just heard and found out that you got married, and I wanted to take a moment to reach out and congratulate you and your wife.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think congratulations is good from anybody.
Absolutely, man. And listen, secondly, you know, first of all, during COVID, that's impressive, and I think that's some good news that we could all get around. And I think it's awesome, and it's frankly ambitious and quite frankly romantic to think about it. So good job.
Well, we're very much in love.
Good. I'm glad. Hey, listen, the other reason I wanted to contact you is because I'm an awesome real estate agent, such as I am, I typically like to be a little bit proactive for a lot of my clients. And a lot of the business that I do is I look up, you know, county records to see who got married.
That's great, because I was just going to jump in on there and ask you how you got my information.
Definitely.
Well,
you know, like when you're on Amazon and it predicts you might want to get a new table or a new chair or a new this or a new that.
Sure.
Just like that, I'm very proactive. I use predictive analytics. And a lot of times when people get married, they start looking for a house.
That's very industrious of you.
Absolutely. And I know that you may not have thought about it yet, but I just wanted to throw my hat into the ring and just say, hey, how are you? I'm a real estate agent, and just wondering if you're interested in looking at either a new purchase of a property, maybe selling your home, or looking into an investment property.
Well, we just moved into a $4.2 million mansion, so we're good on our residence, but we wouldn't mind looking at some investment properties.
Awesome. You know, listen, I think that's the best way to create a college fund, frankly, for the future, if that's in the works. But listen, I'd love to sit down with you and explain the process of investment properties. It's no obligation on your part. Again, I'm just a very proactive agent, which I think speaks volumes of my capacity. But when could you sit down? Maybe tomorrow for about 15 minutes? We can kind of go over it.
Oh, well, let me see. Tomorrow. The book's solid till 2. I can do anything after that.
Perfect. Let's put you in for 4 o'clock, give you an hour to kind of relax a little bit. And let's meet over at this place. I love it. It's called Porta Via. It's right on Cannon Drive across the street from my office.
Are we going to meet in person? Not like with COVID? Is that safe?
It's up to you. I have N95 masks. I'm happy to give you one. But if you'd like to do a Zoom meeting, we could do that.
No, I'm feeling pretty good. I'll come out.
Okay, perfect.
I'll bring my wife with me as well.
Awesome. I'd love to meet both of you. I think it'd be great. So, you know, listen, we'll go ahead. I'll pencil you in for 4 o'clock tomorrow at Porta Via on Cannon Drive in Beverly Hills. And listen, because you're a newlywed and you typically know other newlyweds and other people getting married for that matter who haven't bought a home, if you could just kind of think of me as well, you know, in the coming days, you know, feel free to pass on my information.
I'll do that.
Awesome. Matthew, listen, looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Jared, thanks for calling. Have a great day.
Bye. So I basically did the same script, but I'm kind of proactively answering a lot of the questions that they might have. And
yeah, I felt like I didn't really grill you that hard.
No worries. But for me, that has helped a lot whenever I'm doing cold calls. How did you get my number is like the number one thing that people say. And I love that, Matthew, when I said, I'm sorry, do you know my friend Garrett or something? Blah, 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 blah. You said, no, that's good. That's good that you said that.
Well, yeah, you don't want to lie.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised. A lot of realtors do.
I mean, that's like shooting yourself in the foot, because basically, you know, if you're starting off like what could be a business relationship going forward, you're going to start that out with deception.
Right. Always come from truth and contribution.
Totally.
Totally. So good stuff, everybody. I hope that kind of made sense. So if you ever have that situation where they go, how do you get my number? You know, think of that ahead of time, you know, instead of like kind of being on the spot, like, oh shit, I don't know. I Googled you.
I would assume that people, like if you checked like records, like marriage records and things like that, I mean, in this day and age, it's like to drum up business, you got to have it kind of get outside of the box. I don't think they would be necessarily offended by that, right?
Not at all. In my opinion, that's the kind of realtor I want working for me. If I could find your number, do you think I could find you a new home? Probably. So, you know, that's just some stuff to keep in consideration. Okay, moving down the list. So get your head in the game. Page number 10. I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right page. I sure am. Very cool. Clearly establish the process of finding and buying a home and working with your buyers as a coordinated team. As a coordinated team is the best way to work effectively and efficiently to close as many buyers as possible. Working with buyers is a relatively simple, inexpensive, and quick. One, finding homes is simple. It's not hard to find buyers to work with. Finding buyers is simple. Excuse me. Sorry. It's not hard to find buyers to work with. They visit open houses and look for properties online or through your KW app. Buyers are everywhere at all times, essentially raising their hands and saying, work with me. Anybody who saw the Glenn Ross thing that I was playing earlier in the class, it was, they're walking on the lot, they're ready to buy, and you're saying they're not good, you know? So, hey, buyers are everywhere. If you just have to look, you just have to ask those questions. Servicing buyers is inexpensive. Buyers are more time consuming than costly. Apart from the gas you'll put in your car as you show homes, your expenses will be low. Very true. Now time is money though, so that's why we want to get those buyer exclusive agreements signed. Earning with buyers is quick. If you do it right, in a great buyer transaction, you can help that person find a home and write an offer in one day. Working efficiently with buyers is your key to generating quick income. Now, I want to talk about number 3. I'm not bringing this up to be discouraging, but in today's market, might be a little hard to find something right off the bat in one day. There's just not a lot of listings right now. So just anticipate that process might take, 2 or 3, ventures out, or something like that, just to find them that perfect home, just because inventory is super, super low. Now, I don't know if that's going to hold up for the remainder of the year. I think that we might be getting some people putting their homes on the market. I've noticed a few homes popping up in my specific areas at a little bit of a higher frequency, but that could just be, luck of the draw. But inventory is very low right now. So for a lot of the buyers I'm working with, it's taken me about 2 or 3 weeks to find them a house that they actually want to write an offer on. So just keep that in mind. Yes, 1 second, everybody. I need to put the booklet in the chat. And Matthew, feel free to just send that to everybody so I don't sound like I'm a cuckoo bird talking to myself. But yes, I will go ahead and put that in the chat real quick. Give me a second. Oh, I didn't want that. Hold on. 1 second. Student resources. So everybody, just so you know, if you go to KW Connect, go under the resources tab, go to the KWU, and that's how you can find these things. Now, some of you might not have access to that, so I totally understand. 1 second. Where did it go? There it goes. No. Come on, chat. There we go. Okay, so if for whatever reason when my computer died, you missed the link for the material, I just put it in the chat to everybody. Go ahead and click on that and bring the link on up. All right. So, alrighty. So where I just left off with basically earning with buyers is quick. Listen, if it is a buyer's market and there's just a lot of inventory on the market, it should just take, a week or 2 really to get into escrow or at least start writing offers because there's going to be so much inventory that you're likely going to probably find a house that they're going to be interested in fairly quickly. Converting your buyer lead into a signed buyer agreement. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right page. Great, perfect. A signed buyer agreement is an important step in the process. Each step of the process requires you to build and cultivate the relationship. So right over here, we are here. Again, this is a lead generating business. That is number 1 for all of us. We need to be lead generating. So we start with the leads. The bigger the funnel, the bigger the net, the more leads we're going to pull in. We're right here, we're setting appointments. And the next part is we're going to want to set some agreements going on with our buyers. Okay, make it happen. Converting buyer leads. Working with buyers can be fun and exciting. Touring houses and helping them find their next dream home. The process of working with buyers can be refined into 3 steps. Find buyers, qualify your buyers, sign buyers. So number 1, finding buyers. Remember, your number 1 job, I just said that, is lead generation. In this case, it's lead generation for buyers. After all, you can't work with buyers if you don't have any buyers. The National Association of Realtors 2014 profile, wow, this is old, of home buyers and seller statistics, 88% of buyers purchased their home through a real estate agent. 40% of buyers found their agent through a referral from friends or family. That's why we're always asking for referrals with our clients, our friends and family, and stuff like that. 12% of the buyers used an agent they had used in the past. 9% of buyers found an agent from visiting an open house. All right, activities of how to find buyers. I want us to go ahead and brainstorm some ideas. How could we find some buyers? Anyone? How could we find buyers? What are some good ways to find buyers?
Your sphere of influence. People who are close to you, who are currently renting. You're like, hey, I'm a realtor. I need you to buy a house. Let's go.
100%. 100%.
Walk around with your name badge. Like if
walk around with your name badge. You know, I think what's kind of fun is going to the grocery store with your name badge. You know, because people always go, what is that? You know, strike up a convo with somebody and they'll go, what's that little badge thing? What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a realtor. You know, absolutely, 100%. I like it. I like it a lot. Hold on, I'm just trying to bring up some of the student resources so I can share that screen and I can simultaneously go on the instructor edition. Okay, we are on page 11 on that. Give me a second, please. One moment. Yeah, so 100%, you can go around with that. Is there anything else that we can think of that could help us find some buyers?
Social media.
Social media is huge. Big time social media, especially now. I'm actually a little surprised that they didn't put that in one of the statistics. But a lot of people find their realtors through the internet. Now, a couple other things that I wanted to bring up: newlyweds, new parents, referrals from other agents who don't desire to work with buyers. So that's actually a big one too. Befriend really big, you know, agents in the office. They might have a couple buyers that they don't really want to work with. They're like, I have 6 listings right now. Just give me a referral. You know, I'll give you a referral on these, you know, whatever it might be. So that's another good way of doing it. You know, I think cold calling is a great way to find buyers, frankly, as well. Okay, moving on to, are you seeing my screen that I'm scrolling on right now? Okay.
No.
Okay. Oh, I have a yes and I have a no.
Hold on, let me open up.
You're on open houses right now? Or
yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was hoping I can go back and forth, but I can't. So I'll just stay on the.
What page is that?
Page 12. Okay. All righty. Lead generation. Doing your daily 10-4 is an excellent opportunity to find buyers and buyer referrals. Always ask. I just want to see if you have any real estate plans coming up that I can help with. I appreciate you giving me that a thought. If you do come across someone, will you promise to let me know? So, you know, we're always having these conversations with people. Just the other day, I was talking with my mom and I forget why she was on the phone with her friend Marcia. But anyway, I know that this lady Marcia happens to know a lot of people in Beverly Hills. And I knew she was on the phone with her and I was like, give me the phone, give me the phone, give me the phone. She was like, what? And I was like, hey, Marcia, it's Jared. I haven't seen you in like 10 years. I just wanted to say hi. How are you? She was like, oh, Jared, oh my gosh, last time I saw you was absolutely about 10 years ago. Oh, I'm great. I'm doing good. I was like, Marcia, listen, you know, we had exchanged pleasantries and all that kind of stuff. I said, Marcia, listen, I have this buyer. We've seen every single property in the Beverly Hills Flats. They can go up to $18 million. And I'm not trying to pitch you. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm not trying to do any of that. I wouldn't do that to my friends and family. But because you know so many people, if you hear of somebody looking to sell their house or they're thinking about it, could you think of giving me a call first? Because this person has seen every single house on the market and they're just not interested in anything that they see. So if you hear of anything, could you let me know? And maybe I could, you know, maybe even set up a sale off market for them. They don't have to go through that whole process. She's like, you know, Jared, actually, I do know a couple people. And she mentioned, you know, somebody who died, but they're not looking in that area, whatever. And then I said, hey, well, listen, you know, maybe you can give their, you know, their family my information. I'd love to set up an appointment. Now, is she going to do that? Who knows? But the point is there's always an opportunity to ask for the business or a referral. So always be closing. Remember from the movie, the clip I showed, A, always B, B, C, closing, always be closing. AID, something S. Do I have your attention? Do I have your decision? Whatever. It was funny. Anyway, love that movie. Definitely recommend watching that in its entirety.
I just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd seen it before, but I happened to catch it from the beginning.
I was playing it for the class. I don't know if you were on then, but I realized it was very adult language, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be playing this right now. But anyway, so open house.
Coffees for closers.
Coffees for closers. Love that movie. Okay, open houses. As a new agent, open houses are easy, fun, and low-cost way to find buyers. Your goal, and I'm going to do this because we just found out we got a vaccine coming up, 90% effective rate. Hopefully, we'll be doing open houses in the next year. As a new agent, open houses are an easy, fun, low-cost way to find buyers. Your goal in holding an open house is not only to sell the home, it is to put yourself in the path of opportunity. The business opportunity to meet people, add to your database, and set appointments, especially with interested buyers. For many agents, holding open houses is their #1 strategy to building a strong business, and it can be yours too. If you follow a proven model, buyers and sellers come to you. The other visitors may not be actively looking to buy or sell, but a memorable and favorable impression can generate referrals now and business farther down the road. Holding an open house can be broken down into these steps: preparation, marketing, connecting with visitors and asking for their contact information, lead cultivation, and conversion follow-up. So let's say you're talking with somebody and they say, you know, Jared, I'm actually just one of the neighbors. I'm not really looking to buy right now or anything like that. Oh, well, great. Well, have you considered selling recently? Is that why you're, you know, checking out open houses? No, I don't know, maybe in like a year or two. I don't know. We always think about it, but you know, we're not really pulling the trigger. Great, no worries. Well, hey, listen, I'd love to get a chance to get your number and send you an email sometime. No, I don't want to talk to you. You're a real estate agent. Okay, not a problem. Hey, listen, did you see the Dodgers game? You know, we won the championship. The reason why I'm changing the subject though is at that point I try to connect with them on a personal level. Try to find out some of their interests and stuff like that. And then when you find out some of their interests, you know, you ask them, hey, you know, by the by, do you have kids? You know, something like that. Yeah, but they're all grown-ups. Oh, great. Did they go to the schools over here when they lived here? Oh, yeah. Well, you know, actually, I went to Upper Fairburn, Fairburn Elementary School for a little while. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I love that school. It was great. Why am I talking about that? I'm trying to build a rapport with them. And then at the end of that conversation is just, hey, just for giggles and laughs, I'm always in the neighborhood. What's your number? You know, I'll send you a text message if I hear of anything interesting happening in your neighborhood. And then I'm asking again for their number. Why? Because always be closing. So the point is if they, you know, refuse to give it to you at first, go ahead and you know, ask again. You know, maybe change the subject for a brief period of time, but ask again, because that person who's coming to your open house to check out the property, they might be actually interviewing real estate agents, and they just don't want to tell you that. So always keep that in the back of your mind. You know, really, it's about building rapport in those situations, in my opinion. Okay, find the motivated. Here is a little video we're going to pop up there. And of course, I clicked out of the Ignite thing. I have just way too many things open right now, unfortunately. Hold on one moment, please. Let me get the video up and running. Is there any questions in regards to finding buyers, open houses, all that fun stuff? Nice.
No question. I just wanted to say that before become a realtor, I was working for a realtor. I was his assistant at Keller Williams, but in Encino. And most of his clients were from the gym. Like he was going to Equinox with this shirt that he made. He says Dave Perez and his phone number and his email. Called me. And it was great. He got so many clients from there. It was really good.
Smart idea. Very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. You know, I used to go to Equinox here in West LA off of Sepulveda. And, you know, I only went there for about a year. But in that year time, I picked up 3, you know, buyers, you know, just at the gym having conversation with people. I also realized that half of the gym there was realtors. So that's why I got rid of my, my membership. And I ended up going to a rock climbing gym, which surprisingly enough, no realtors go to that. I was the only real estate agent in the entire rock climbing gym. I feel like I shouldn't have said that. Now all the realtors are going to go to the gym. I'm kidding. It's closed anyway. So, but I found a niche that was, you know, a lot of people are there just to work out. Their guard is down. They're not thinking about, oh, there's this person trying to sell me. And I would do classes at the rock climbing gym, even though I blew past those classes a long time ago. I would go ahead and do it. And I'd just say, oh, I'm just doing it for a refresher. You know, I like working, you know, I like the instructor. So him and I, the instructor and I actually became friends, and he's like, you can just sit in and on the classes whenever you want. You know, you don't have to pay extra to do it, you know, cause I didn't really take up much time. I just kind of like would like be his like free demonstrator or whatever. You know, if he didn't have another instructor available, he'd be like, Jared, here, why don't you, gear up and go show this, like, you know, move for the class. Like, sure, man, I got you. Get on belay and scurry up the rock and, you know, whatever. And then eventually people go, so Jared, you've been climbing for a while, it seems like. Yeah, I have. No, I love rock climbing. Love rock climbing, camping, backpacking. Yeah, me too. I'm just getting into it. Well, hey, listen, anytime you want to rock climb together, I'm available, you know. I'm like, oh, wow, really? That's great. So what do you do? Oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, wow, that's so cool. I'm in tech. Oh, really? That's awesome. You know, I actually, Riot Games down the street, when I was in construction, we built that. Oh, no way. I work at Riot Games. No way. That's so cool. And boom, we have like rapport. We're best friends all of a sudden. And they know that I'm in real estate. And I can easily have that conversation. When all of a sudden they're locked into my harness and I'm belaying them, they have to trust me at that point. I have their life and their life in my hands. So I love rock climbing for a lot of different reasons, but it really builds a lot of rapport real quick. And they're kind of stuck with you if you ever want to start talking real estate. So anyway, but yes, definitely gyms are great. Okay, so here's the video. Find the motivate with Jennifer Collins.
I have a question.
Hey, return for the video.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pollock, and I'd like to share tips on how to find the motivated. What do I mean by find the motivated? Turning a warm lead into a closed client. The first tip is when you find someone, you want to ask for the business. Let's say you're at a party and your friend is pregnant. You can always say, hey, it looks like you need a bigger house. Or you're out and about and you see this big, beautiful diamond ring and not the full wedding ring. You can say, hey, it looks like you just got engaged. Congratulations. When are you buying your next house? And then I always ask, when are you ready to buy? When are you looking to move into your new house? What are those underlying tips of motivation that will tip you off to having a client that's ready to do business now versus a year from now? Tip number 2, ask for the appointment. Have a calendar or your smartphone ready to say, I have availability tomorrow at 2 or the next day at 4. Which one would work for you? Book the appointment when you meet someone who's ready to do business. Tip number 3, so now you've got the appointment, you want to pre-qualify that appointment by using scripts. Ask questions such as, have you met with the lender that I referred you to the other day? To make sure that they have their price range in mind when they're meeting with you to buy a home, and that you know they're able to sell a home, or that they're motivated by a desire to have another outcome, like maybe they're relocating, or they're downsizing their home. There has to be some motivation level to continue forward with the appointment. Tip number 4, use embedded commands. When you get in front of the people face to face at your appointment, you want to be talking embedded command language, such as, when you're comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, then we'll sign the contract tonight. If you're using that language throughout your hour or half an hour appointment, they'll be more comfortable when they get to the end and they'll sign that contract and then you can move forward. The last step is you've signed them up and now it's your goal to get a referral. When you're in conversation with them on the phone, in the car, at the closing, use questions. Who else do you know that's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate that I can call today? If you keep saying this throughout the process, you'll find yourself turning more of your current clients into referral business that will generate lots of easy sales for you. So go out there and find the motivated and have a great day.
Boom. So, Adam, before I get to your question, I just want to touch upon a couple things that they were discussing in the where am I? In this great video is embedded commands. Embedded commands are very, very important. And I believe, sorry, I just lost my place on my screen, which is frustrating. Give me a second. Adam, go ahead with your question, and I'll get back to it. I need to.
I was wondering, when you have this conversation with the guy at the gym, what do you do exactly after that? Because you only introduced yourself, you have him as a contact, but what exactly you have to do? Like, should I add him to the database and put him on a smart plan? Which kind of smart plan should I use? Like, because I don't have if he has interest, but also I don't want to lose him as a like a contact. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Right. So, I mean, that's going to be different for everybody. You know, the course is going to tell you, yes, you put them immediately on a 31 touch campaign. That might not be the best move, personally, if you're meeting people in personal situations. If you haven't had a very, very strict conversation on, yes, I am looking to buy a house, I might not put them on a 31 touch campaign until I have that, you know, language conversation in the conversation. This is just so, and I don't want to confuse you, because I think the better default is to add them onto a 31 touch campaign. If you don't do anything, at least get them on a campaign. But if you realize that you're going to be seeing this person, you're building a relationship, you actually have rapport with them. For example, for me, the rock climbing gym was, hey, if you're ever looking for somebody to belay you, I'm happy to do so. Obviously, they're going to give me a call. They came to the gym by themselves. They're going to want somebody who is, you know, belay certified to, you know, take them up on, you know, more fun routes or whatever. I would probably bring that conversation up the next time I saw them. You know, I'm trying to build that rapport, you know.
So keep it personal.
Yeah. Hey, let's, you know, listen, you know, a lot of fun chatting with you in the class today. Hey, would you want to go rock climbing, you know, sometime next week? Maybe I can get your number and, you know, we can link up. Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Awesome. Perfect. Tuesdays work for me. Does that work for you? No, I'm usually free on Fridays. Okay, great. Friday it is. Schedule rock climbing with John Doe from the rock climbing gym Friday at 2 o'clock. Great. Perfect. And so then I go meet with them on Friday. And I go, so man, yeah, how's work going with you? Like, what's new in your life? Blah, 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 blah. Oh man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. How about you? How's real estate going? Oh man, it's awesome. I love it. You know, listen, I got into real estate, you know, few odd years back, and best decision I ever made. Oh yeah, how's the market going? Boom, got him right there. Market's great. Are you looking to buy or sell by any chance? I'd love to really have a quick conversation with you and see if I can help you out a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually am. Great. Hey, listen, you know, I love rock climbing and I don't want to, you know, confuse our relationship, but, you know, let's meet, you know, sometime this weekend. We can have some coffee or something, talk about your goals. Yeah, you know, that does sound fun. Great. Perfect. What's your email? Okay. Send you an invite. Awesome. Very cool. Once I send them that email, I'm putting them on a 31 touch campaign. I might put them on a 31 touch after I have that meeting with them, so I can kind of find out some more info. Maybe they're going to tell me in the meeting, oh, I'm really interested in moving in Hancock Park. So in my 31 touch campaign and my notes, I'm going to put them under Hancock Park, you know, so they automatically get updates on what's happening in Hancock Park area in a specific price range that they're looking for. I might, you know, have further conversations of why do you want to move to Hancock Park? Why, or let's say Hancock Park to Silver Lake. Why do you want to move to those areas? Oh, I just love the artsy scene and all this kind of stuff. Great, they're artsy, writing that down in a note. So my point is yes, you want to put them on those campaigns, but I usually wait to put them on a campaign until after we've had a conversation about, yes, I'm looking to buy, yes, I'm looking to sell, yes, I'm looking to invest, or yes, I'm looking to rent.
Yeah, makes sense now for me.
Yeah, one of those fours, I usually like to have that conversation first. Now, that said, if you're doing a cold calling, this is where I kind of differ on that. If I'm cold calling people, and by the by, what I do works for me. It might not work for you. You might want to be a little bit more aggressive or less aggressive. It's really going to be a personal decision at that point. So keep that in mind. You know, whatever I say, take it with a grain of salt. There are other agents who do far better than me who might agree with me or disagree with me. So, you know, definitely ask around what their opinion is, but I really always say it's up to you. Where was I? But yeah, if I'm cold calling, no, maybe they did. For me, if I'm cold calling and I go, hi, John Doe or Jane Doe from Bel Air, just calling around. Just, you know, we have a lot of buyer interest right now. I had a listing in your area a few months back, and you know, it's sold. We had over 300 buyers stop by our open houses and our listings. Listen, I'm just calling to see if you or anybody you know in the neighborhood is looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate. Love to help you out. Yeah, no, you know, I'm not right now, but I am a little bit later. Great. Hey, listen, while I have you on the phone, you know, could I get your email? I'd love to send you just some, you know, some updates on what's happening in your neighborhood. It's not just some Zillow stuff. It's actually thought out and really, really, the numbers are crunched before I send anything out. Would that sound like something you'd be interested in? Yeah, sure. I'll get an email. Great. What's your email? Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Boom. They're on a 31 touch campaign. And you know, I'm not really even calling. Sorry. Anyway. So yeah, no, and I'm not really going to be calling them that much. I'm just putting them on a 31 touch. So I don't know. I hope that answered your question. But
yeah,
really,
yeah. Thank you for that.
Very personal how you want to handle it. Let's see. Let me go back to my screen share. Okay. So do your market research. Yeah, that's where we are. Okay. You're in the information business. As you are prospecting for buyers, you will be asked questions about the market. Be prepared. I just said that. You know, when I'm rock climbing with somebody, they're going to go eventually, how's the market? I should know right away. So anyway, be prepared. What should we be prepared with? What's available in my price range? I don't think I can afford to buy a house. I'm thinking about waiting until next year. Can you help me find investment properties? I can afford about $1,500 per month for my living expenses, and I'd like to live in X, Y, and Z neighborhoods. Neighborhood of their price homes that the buyer cannot afford. Anyway, so what would you do? How would you respond to what's available in my price range? Let's say, for example, I am a buyer. And please, anybody who has an answer, just chime right in. Yeah, you know, I'm just wondering what's in the $1 million price range in Beverly Hills?
I usually say it depends. Like I make it not clear enough, so he will ask me more questions. Or I ask him some questions like how many rooms are you looking for? Just to get more information from him. Right, right.
So let's say I go, you know, listen, I want to buy a condominium. I can go up to about $1 million. I really only need a 1 to 2 bedroom, ideally 2 bedroom. You know, it's for me and my girlfriend. We're probably going to get engaged pretty soon. What would you say then?
So 1 million, and you're looking for a 2-bedroom. I think we can look for something, but based on what I know of the market, you can have something with that range. Maybe the area will depend, will control what area you're going to. So what areas are you thinking about?
Oh yeah, I just told you Beverly Hills.
Huh?
I just told you Beverly Hills.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I have no clue what to say now.
Okay. So perfect. So let's say somebody said that to me. Now that's a very low budget for Beverly Hills. Is it possible? Possible, but they said 1 bedroom to 2 bedrooms. So I know for a fact that there are some places that you can buy in Beverly Hills. Why do I know that? Because I do the market research. I know it like the back of my hand. Yeah, I know, absolutely. There's a condominium complex that's right next to the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. You could absolutely find a great 1-bedroom condo. You know, in fact, I got somebody into escrow just a year ago for about $590,000 for a 1-bedroom, and it was almost the top floor. Gorgeous views. Would that be something that you might be interested in? Oh, wow. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And listen, you know, Beverly Hills is great, but would you be open to other areas that might be just surrounding Beverly Hills? You know, maybe West Los Angeles. Maybe you can go into the Palms Culver area, maybe even Santa Monica, or does it have to be Beverly Hills? And so that way we're having the conversations. And I think, like you were saying, you might want to get some, you know, other stuff, but I'm saying it to them because why? I'm the expert. I know that, you know, it might be a little bit tough in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
So
I'm not strong with still with the numbers, so I have to do more research. That's why
all good. What you said was perfect. It was perfect, and it's actually identical to what I'm saying right now. But it's just we want to fine tune it just a little bit. So in that case, in that instance, this is why it's so important for all of us on these lessons to be doing our daily 10-4. I keep going back to it because it is literally the foundation of our business. You know, we're making those contacts, we're having the conversations, great. Now that 10 properties, you know, a week that we keep previewing, now that's starting to pay off. So the reason why we do those previews of the properties and seeing what's happening in our market is for these conversations that we get into. We want to be able to express to them that, yes, there is something that you could afford at that price range in Beverly Hills. But I'd like to remind you that if you're looking for a 2-bedroom, which might suit your lifestyle a little bit better, there are other amazing neighborhoods that you could be looking at. For example, there's some condos along Beverly Glen, frankly, that, you know, between Pico and Wilshire that could possibly work for your budget. Would you be interested in that area? And most people who are saying they want to live in Beverly Hills and have a condo, they'll be willing to look around the Wilshire corridor as well. Now, everybody's different. There might be some prestige reasons why they need Beverly Hills, whatever. But at least have the conversation to see if they're open to it. If they're not, pivot right back to Beverly Hills and say, not a problem, we'll begin looking. So that's what I would say in that situation. Let's try another one. I don't think I can afford to buy a house. What would you say to, I don't think I can afford to buy a house? Anybody?
Have you thought about an undesirable location, like in LA County, but not in the area of Beverly Hills?
Sure, that could work. Is there anything else we can do if somebody says, I don't think I can afford to buy a house?
Did you check with a lender?
Boom, bingo. Have you checked with a lender? Maybe they can. You know, I've had a lot of people who don't think that they could afford to do something and they go ahead and get pre-approved and they're like, oh my God, I could buy a $2 million house. I never realized that. You know,
do you ask them how their credit rate is doing also?
You know, I try to get out of that conversation. I let the lender do that. But you know, I will try to assist them as much as possible. So I, for example, would be like, well, how's your credit? That's pretty good. You know, solid. Great. Awesome. Well, Well, you know, I think the next step would probably be talking to a lender. Have you ever talked to one? No, no. I mean, if I talk to a lender, then, you know, obviously they're going to, well, no, actually it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. And I could set you up with somebody and even see if they can do a theoretical pre-approval without pulling your credit. And then if all of a sudden you find out that you theoretically might be able to afford something, the next step is just pulling credit. And it's a soft hit. It's not even like a really hard one. It's no big deal. It's like buying a car. Then they might go, okay, yeah, I'll talk to your lender. Great. Let's start with just a conversation. And if we want to move forward, we can move forward from there. And so what I usually say is when somebody says, I don't think I can afford to buy a house, I go, you know what? It's interesting. A lot of people don't realize how affordable it is to buy a house. Interest rates are so low that oftentimes the mortgage that you would pay on something that you're renting right now, the equivalent on a condo, would actually be less than what you're paying monthly right now for your rental. Sound interesting? Yeah, great. Let's go talk to a lender. That simple. So very good. I'm thinking about waiting until next year. What would we say to that? I just kind of teed it up for you in that conversation right there. There was a key thing that I said in the last conversation, just before this one, before this question. I'm thinking about waiting until next year. Why is it a good opportunity right now for buyers this year?
Because the interest rate maybe can change. We don't know.
Beautiful. The interest rate. The interest rates right now are rock bottom. It's almost like free money. So right now, let's say if you get a low interest rate, but all of a sudden the prices jump up or go down $100,000, you know, let's say, well, I don't want to say $100,000. Let's say the prices go down by 5%, but the interest rates go up a percentage point. Are you now paying more or less for that house? Probably paying more with that 1% interest rate because it's over the life of the loan. So you want to learn those numbers, those conversions. But for example, if a $1 million house that was 1.5 goes down to, you know, drops, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 in price, but it goes up 2 percentage points on the interest rate, you're paying more for the higher interest rate. Even though that's technically a low interest rate, even if it goes back up to like 3.5%, it's still pretty low. I mean, in the 90s and 80s, it used to be like a 20% interest rate, if you could imagine. So yeah, right now, the real driving reason is the interest rates. They are so low that you're paying, you know, pennies on the dollar for the loan. Okay, can you help me find investment properties? Hell yeah, we can. So that would be the answer to that one. I can afford about $1,500 per month in living expenses, and I'd like to live in neighborhood of priced homes that buyer cannot afford. What would we say to that? So for that example, I would say, you know, listen, I love Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is awesome. You know, just out of curiosity, have you considered any other areas outside of the Beverly Hills area? And if they say yes, I'd say, well, what other areas do you like? And they maybe say, oh, well, you know, I like Culver City, Palms area. You know, it seems really fun and up and coming. I agree. You know, would you be interested in purchasing something over there? Because if you did, I think it would be right in the appropriate price range. It'd be a great first-time home for you financially as far as an investment for your future. And then, you know, in the next 10 years or so, you could sell the property once it appreciates in value and use your proceeds to buy that house in Beverly Hills. It's a good conversation to have. You know, a lot of people who are talking about moving around in the West Side, I have no shame in bringing up the Valley. And in fact, you know, if I'm working with somebody who has such a low, I'm not trying to say such a low budget, but, you know, frankly, has a low budget, but wants, let's say, a lot of different amenities that maybe, you know, that budget just doesn't really permit in Beverly Hills. I might even say to them, hey, listen, have you been out to like eat around like Ventura Boulevard over in like Studio City, Sherman Oaks, any of those areas? Oh yeah, it's such a cute area actually. Yeah, I agree actually. You know, have you ever been to Laurel Tavern? Oh yeah, yeah, I love that place. Yeah, no, it's pretty cute, right? Listen, I know it's not the area you were thinking of, but at your price range, you could get a brand new construction condo, never been lived in before, all the upgrades that you want. And plus you're just, you know, a 10, 15 minute drive over the hill into Beverly Hills. Could that be something you're interested in? Oh, well, but I always imagined myself living in Beverly Hills. Listen, I agree. My business is mainly in Beverly Hills. I will say this though, if you can purchase a house now, rather than renting a house and just throwing money away, wouldn't that be a better financial decision for you for your future? And the only reason why I bring it up is I want to be a fiduciary. I kind of want to be a little bit of an advisor to you because frankly, oftentimes, you know, when people wait to buy that house in Beverly Hills, they've just thrown away 10 years of rent payments that they're never going to see again, versus purchasing a condo in a different neighborhood that they didn't initially imagine themselves in. But all of a sudden they build so much equity that by the time they sell that house, they get all that money back plus a profit. And then they go buy that big dream home that they wanted. Doesn't that sound like, you know, something that maybe our parents used to do? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. You know, I bet you when your parents first got married, that first house that they purchased wasn't the house that you grew up in. No, it wasn't. Yeah. So just a thought. And then all of a sudden people start getting nostalgic and they start thinking about that kind of stuff. So that's a conversation I would have in that situation. All right. Okay. Know your terms. All right. Let's see. Sunny. Are you on, Sunny? Nope. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I was muted.
Pretty good, bud. Hey, would you be able to read list price and the red that I have highlighted on my screen?
Yeah. The final sales price, what a buyer pays for the home, divided by the last list price expressed as a percentage. If it's above 100%, the home is sold for more than the list price. If it's less than 100%, the home is sold for less than the list price. The list price to sales price percentages can help buyers decide what to offer on a home.
Beautiful. So when we're going over comps and we're showing our, what is sold for, what it did this, what did that, we can look at other properties that were listed previously, and we can go, well, look, this property got 110% of the list price. It means it went 10% over asking. It might be a little bit, the conversion might be a little bit, but yeah. Or it's 90% of the list price. So we can kind of scrapulate, kind of figure out like, oh, okay. So this one was overpriced and went under. This other house was priced appropriately and went over. But if you look at the over and under and bring them together, they're probably pretty close to the same price per square foot. So that's something to keep in mind. Days on market. That's the number of days it's been on the market. Pretty easy to figure that one out. Average days on market in the area is the total days on market of each listing divided by the number of listings. You can find the average days on market. That's very, very beneficial for buyers to know, hey, how much time do we have to get an offer in? Or it could be very beneficial for sellers as well to just kind of give your seller some expectations of how many days it should be on the market. BINS, Buyer Instant Notification System, which allows them to store each preference. Okay, anyway, we don't really use that too much. We set that up in our MLS and we do custom searches. It sends it out. IDX stands for Internet Data Exchange. It provides consumers with access to the local MLS right from your website. So all of our websites have IDX already built into it. That is a website that Keller Williams gives you. My opinion, that's why it's one of the better websites you can get. Rather than spending a lot of money on a website, you can just use the one on Keller. And you could also customize your website a little bit as well too. Okay, going on to page 16. Let's see, I'll read the first part and I'll ask somebody else to read some of the other stuff. Okay. Be the expert, professional real estate agent that your buyers, be the expert, a professional real estate agent that your buyers can rely on by having local market statistics at your fingertips. Your buyers will need your expertise in order to make informed decisions when it is time to make an offer and negotiate. Keep these statistics updated on a monthly, weekly, even daily basis. It's your job to know these numbers. It absolutely is. At my office, I do this once a month because we really get our numbers are reported monthly in our MLS, is I will go on to ZipLogic, not ZipLogic, InfoSparks, there we go. InfoSparks market trends. It's right in the MLS. I click it, and every single month I update it. And I print it out and I put it right above my desk. So when somebody asks, what's the average days on market? What's a average sales price? What's the average price per square foot? I have that info right in front of me when I'm doing my cold calls. It's very, very powerful information to have because it just makes you sound so much smarter. And I actually have it separated in two different price categories. One is 1 to 3 million, and the other, and it has a certain square footage associated with that. And the other one is 3 million and up. So that I like to separate it like that in that particular market. Some of the other markets might be a little bit more easier, I guess, than Bel Air, because in Bel Air, frankly, you can find some teardowns that are like 1.5, 1.6, maybe not even teardowns, move-in ready places. In West Bel Air, you can find a house for 1.6, and but at the exact same time, right down the street, 2 blocks away, you can find a $20 million mansion. So there's a lot of varying differences in Bel Air, frankly. So I break mine up into different stuff. So anyway, okay, can I have Tanya read the first two, list price to sales price ratios down to average days on market?
Okay, list price to sales price ratios. List price to sales price ratios can help buyers decide what to offer on a home, and they help you educate the buyers on how much they can reasonably expect to negotiate with the sellers on price.
Number 2, average days on market in different price ranges. Buyers are generally interested in how long a home has been on the market. This will help them with offers and negotiations.
Love it. Love it. So yeah, very good stuff there. So number of homes, I'll do 3 and 4. Number of homes on the market in different price ranges. You need to be aware of trends that have an overall picture of what is going on in terms of listing inventory across the price bands of your market. This can help buyers understand how quickly they need to act. This is huge. Absolutely. Price trends. Use local home values for the last 5 to 10 years to know how prices have fallen or risen over the last 10 years. And let your buyers know whether it is a buyer's or seller's market. Price trends will drive how buyers and sellers behave in the market. Check your MLS, talk with your team leader, and mastermind with other agents to keep your fingers on the pulse of the market. So again, I do InfoSparks market trends, which is in the MLS. It's under quick links. You might have to click through a couple of different stuff, but you'll find it there. This will give you a lot of information. You can go back 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever you wanted to do, you can make it happen on that. You can tell people, listen, the inventory is this, the blah, blah, blah is that. It's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market, all good stuff. So, all right. Let's see. All right, local information. You will want to have information on your geographic farm. School district information, know the school districts inside and out. Now, this is a little dangerous here in Los Angeles County. As realtors, we want them to do their own research on schools, because you can get sued if you say, yeah, you're part of this school district, and you find out they're not. So just be a little bit careful with that. Always say, yes, this is in the blah, 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 blah school district, but I highly recommend calling the school and asking them, is this property in your school district? Really just go right to the source and figure it out. Put the onus on your buyer to figure that out, and don't just be the sole source of information. Definitely, if you know for a fact it is, that's great, but still, even then, tell your buyer, I would appreciate it though if you would look that up. In fact, I probably wouldn't even put that in an email. I would probably just have it on a conversation. Local resources. What are some local resources that we can have at our fingertips for buyers? Anybody? If you notice, it was actually right over here on the side, but it would be, here are some ideas. Some local resources could be shopping, cable, utilities, trash services, HOA and the fees, nearby recreation. You know, if you're moving to a part of the valley in Tarzana and they want to live up in the hills, hey, by the by, you know, there's a great country club in the area called Braemar. Thought you might be interested in that. If you have somebody moving into Bel Air, oh, there's a great country club over here. Or, you know, the Glen Center is just down the street. You know, you can do a lot of that kind of fun stuff to make sure they're aware of the area.
In my last place that I lived, I used to rent out 2 of the bedrooms. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And one of the big selling points I used every time I posted for it was just that, like, literally a half a block from my place, there was like a full shopping center. There was an LA Fitness, all that kind of stuff. And that always brought a lot of people in.
Boom, 100%. Yeah, that is a perfect example of knowing your local resources. Okay, your turn to research some stats. For the interest of time, we are not going to do this one, but we'll discuss it. Where can you find local market statistics? Depending on the type of data, it could be online, your local title company, or maybe another agent in your office. Break up into teams of 3 to 4 people. Use any resources you find. Be prepared to present a class. Okay, great. Okay, we're going to skip that one. So again, what I usually do for a lot of my local resources is I use 10K InfoSparks to get like the raw data on like days on market, price per square foot, all that kind of fun stuff. If I want to figure out like what kind of fun shops and restaurants are in the area, I might Yelp it. I might go on Yelp and go, great restaurants near Bel Air. You know, if it's an area that I'm not familiar with, I'll definitely utilize Yelp a little bit. I'll even use Google Maps, frankly, and kind of just like hover around the neighborhood and just look for like cute little restaurants or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, fun stuff like that. Definitely good stuff to do. Qualifying, okay, moving down to page 19, qualify and schedule buyers for the consultation. Armed with market knowledge, your next step is to qualify buyers and schedule an appointment for the buyer consultation. Whether you're speaking to someone in your sphere, a referral who has expressed an interest in buying, responding to buyer sign calls or inquiries from an open house, or making contact with a buyer looking for properties on your website, you have only 2 goals. Qualify them. Are they actual buyers? This is very important. Get the appointment for the buyer consultation. That's it. That's all we're focused on. Qualifying, are you actually really looking to buy, or are you just looky-loos or whatever? Great, you are. Perfect. Let's set up a time to meet and let's discuss it to do the buyer consult. Why qualify first? To avoid wasting time with them. They may not be qualified to buy, and they may have another agent that they're already working with. They may not be serious about buying. They may just be checking prices of the home to determine what their house is worth, etc. Why is it important to qualify buyers, and why do you suppose this is important? I just went over it, unfortunately, but it's mainly just don't waste your time. We want to make sure that people are being honest about their intentions, and I think that's very important. When buyers call on a property they saw online by driving by, this sounds like an instant client, right? No, buyers who are calling on properties often have 2 goals. Eliminate the property with a quick call. They want to determine if the house has potential. If it doesn't, they don't have to see it. Eliminate you until they are ready to make a move. They want to avoid salespeople. So so how do you accomplish your goals? First, by using scripts that give the buyers the information they are looking for on the property, but at the same time, enable you to find out enough information about them to demonstrate your value before they eliminate you. All right. According to the National Association of Realtors, the profile of home buyers and sellers, 2 out of 3 of all buyers interviewed only 1 agent. If you can get the appointment for the buyer consultation, you will more than likely get that buyer. This is very, very true. So try to get that consultation. Qualify. Use the buyer lead sheet on the next few pages and available in your Ignite toolkit to guide you through the buyer qualification. The buyer lead sheet will help you uncover if the buyer is able, ready, and willing to purchase the home. Establish control of the conversation when a buyer calls by asking questions about price, motivation, location, wants and needs, timeline, finances, and availability. All right, so let's take a look at this buyer lead sheet that we have on the screen. So if you're just on the chat right now and you have the screen open, let's go ahead and review this real quick. So somebody gives you a call. You're sitting at your desk, you're at your office, you're doing something else, you're working on your business cards or your website, because us agents love to do that to avoid actually making phone calls. So you're sitting around, you're doing not much of anything, and you get a call. Boom. Hi, I was wondering about blah, 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 Main Street. Oh, great. Sure, absolutely. First, can I get a little bit of information about you? What's your name real quick? Okay, great, thank you. And before we go into some of the information, just in case we lose the call, can I get your email address, please? Awesome. And also, could I get your phone number just in case we lose connection? I'm on my landline, so I don't actually see the number that came up. Perfect. Great. So, a couple questions. Sorry, 1 second. Oh yeah. So real quick, has an agent taken you out to show you properties yet? Yes, no. If yes, how's it going? So, okay, great. So right there, we're just checking it off the mark. So has an agent taken you out to show you any properties yet? Yes, great, check. Great, and how's that going so far? Blah, 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 whatever. Or no, even better. Number 2, is there anybody else buying the home with you? Yeah, my husband is. Okay, great. Who will be living in your home? My husband and I and our 2 kids. How long have you been looking for a home? This one's an important one. Oh, just a month. Great. I'd love to help you out. Oh, 3 years. Oh, fuck. I don't know if I'm going to be able to help you, but I'll certainly try. I'm just curious. Why are you moving? Well, we just moved to the area. Perfect. For a new job. Great. Are you renting or do you own now? Well, we rent. Perfect. Do you know when your lease is up? That's an important question. Yeah, we're month to month right now. Even better. Are you going to be paying cash or will you be getting a mortgage for the purchase of your new home? Mortgage. Great. Have you already been pre-approved by a lender? If yes, who are they working with? If no, then you want to go into that. Perfect. What is the price range you are comfortable with? Is there anyone else who would be involved in your home buying decision? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning that you blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you get the idea of what the buyer pre-qualification looks like. Now, if you can get them to fill all that out, you're probably going to gain some trust on this person because they're going to go, wow, this person's really, really thorough. Now, you might also get the opposite of like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to know if the house is available or not. And if you end up getting that and be like, yeah, so, you know, the reason why I'm asking all of this is because in the event that if you don't like this house, I'd be able to send you a couple other properties that you might be interested in. Wouldn't that help your search out a little bit? Oh, yeah. Great. Perfect. So this just kind of gives me paints a picture of what we're going to be looking at. So all good stuff. So this is about rating your buyers. And this is very important. Depending on the information that we receive from this buyer pre-qual checklist, we're going to put our buyers into 3 categories: your A buyers, your B buyers, and your C buyers. Now, your A buyers, they are they are able, ready, and willing to purchase. They will be under contract in a matter of weeks. Those are our favorite kind. We're going to show them a lot of attention, a lot of personal touches, a lot of personal phone calls, checking in on them. B buyers, they are ready, willing, and able, but not able right now. Something has to happen first. They have to get their existing home under contract, wait for their lease to expire, or get cash from their tax refund, etc. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen here in LA that often, but in other places it does. C buyers, they have no immediate need. They may have a very exacting situation. For example, if they can sell their property for a specific price or get a house on a street that they have always loved, those people will go into your C list. Now, those people also determines how I interact with them. If they're an A buyer versus a B buyer versus a C buyer, whatever, that'll determine how, you know, intense my search is going to be for them. Qualify financially. Financial qualification is essential. You don't want to waste your time on your buyer's time or your buyer's time by looking at homes that are not in their specific price range. Pre-qualification is a preliminary evaluation on how much the buyer can afford to borrow using the initial information from the buyer. Pre-approval is a more involved process, which, by the by, we only use pre-approvals here in Los Angeles. We don't accept offers based on a pre-qual. Pre-quals are pretty light. They're not really that in depth. Is a more involved process in which the lender actually verifies the buyer's income, employment, etc., to evaluate how much the buyer can afford to borrow. Explain the benefits of pre-approval. If I can have, let's see, who hasn't talked? That's Sunny. I've had Adam. Carolina, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this script real quick. If you can look on, I have it highlighted on my screen, or if you have it on yours.
I have a laptop so I can read from here.
Page 24. You can also look on my screen. I think I have it highlighted. I think.
Okay. Explain the benefits of approval. Mr. and Mrs. Buyers, it's important that you are pre-approved for a loan before you beginning your home search. Pre-approval is really just the lender's determination of how much money you will be able to borrow. You know exactly what price range you can afford. When you find the home you love, you'll be able to take action quickly. Sellers will be more likely to accept an offer from pre-approval buyers. And finally, you can see if there are many errors of your credit report. You can resolve them right away. Would you like to have one of my lenders call you to help with your pre-approval? When is the best time?
Perfect. So yeah, that's a very important script, as we can see. We're explaining to them the importance of it all. And at that point, they're starting to realize, oh, there's something to this. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty good. So we definitely want to get them pre-approved. And this is a great script for that. Again, like I always like to say, scripts, in my opinion, they're conversation parameters. You don't have to be, you know, robotic necessarily, but by reading the script over and over and over again, the conversation becomes a little bit more natural. But that was a great job, Carolina. That was perfect. Good job. Thank you.
Jared,
yes.
Do you have a lender that you suggest?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to put her info in the chat right now. She is awesome. Her name is May Shaloub. And let me find her contact info. Okay. May Shaloub. Phone 818 599 8305. Email May.ca. I think it's just her last name. Yep. Movement.com. Okay, so it's May Shaloub. I put her email and her phone number in the chat. She is with Movement Mortgage, which is a subsidiary of our company. So we do have an affiliated business disclosure with her. Of course, we don't get any referrals or kickbacks or anything like that from using them. But in my opinion, she is just an outstanding all-star when it comes to understanding the approval process and getting things done in a timely amount of time, in a timely manner. She's been able to close on properties in a matter of weeks rather than a month. She's very, very, very good. And she's very good at kind of like walking a first-time buyer or the experienced buyer down the line. I know I've annoyed her with a million questions. Even actually, just the other day, I was bugging her about something, and she took the time to get on the email and pointed out something that I missed, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. But anyway, my point is she's very patient. She's very good at what she does. She's personable. She knows how to have conversations with the most advanced business people, and also the ability to, I don't want to say dumb down, but tone down the fancy, lingo or whatever when you're working with a first-time home buyer. So I highly recommend. Thank you. Absolutely, totally. Okay. So moving forward, 7 critical points in the mortgage process for realtors. Here, there's a clear separation of duties in the home buying and home financing process. The real estate agent controls the former, while the mortgage loan officer handles the latter. However, Robert Griffith, CEO of Primero Home Loans, says that his team has found that a great working relationship between the agent and the loan officer can make the transaction go much smoother and avoid unnecessary delays or failures in closings. Griffith and his team share that there are 7 critical points in the mortgage process for real estate agents to engage in. Important, be sure to follow all applicable laws when referring clients to Allied Resources. So for us in Los Angeles, it is just in our best interest to, at a minimum, of refer 3 different clients, but ideally we want to have up to 6 people that we can refer them to. So we're not picking favorites or anything like that. We're giving them just a plethora of options. And what I typically like to do is I'll say, listen, I love May Shalhoub with Movement Mortgage. I've done a lot of deals with her, and she's never delayed any of my escrows, and she's very, very thorough and oftentimes has a better rate. We also have a KW Mortgage, which is a good option for a lot of people. If this is not your first time buying a home, I would highly recommend them because it's a fairly automated process. I don't know if you can imagine Quicken Loans or something, but it's all pretty much done on the internet. And you get your pre-approvals and everything just by submitting documents online. They'll go through the desktop underwriting process. They'll have a couple different competing lenders working for your loan, so you'll get a great rate. You'll even get money back at the close of the escrow. And it's a very, very fantastic option for people who are a little bit more experienced and don't really need a lot of hand-holding. But even so, they have great rates, and I'm happy to facilitate a lot of the communication with them. Also, another option for you is I have another lender that I like to refer out typically. And then in addition to that, whoever you're banking with, your personal financial banking institution, they could also help you out with a lot of loans. Who would you like to work with personally? And I let the buyer decide who they want to work with. But obviously I did say, hey, my girl May is kind of awesome. So I'm hoping that they'll use her, but it doesn't matter to me either way. It's not like I have a financial incentive for anybody to work with May. I just like it because of exactly what they said. The communication between her and I is superb, and I'm able to contact her at any point of the process, just go, May, are we waiting on anything? Do I need to get anything? Can I help you with anything that my buyers might need to get into you? It's just a smoother conversation. It just makes the process just go like butter. It's great. The initial handoff. A great handoff starts with you explaining to your client the advantages of speaking with a talented loan officer up front. Make sure to explain to them that the pre-qualifications and pre-approvals help them understand how much home they can afford. It will also help them to plan for how much the down payment they'll need, so they can begin making arrangement as early as possible to have those funds ready. The process will help them in competitive offer situations as well, where sellers will be more likely to choose their pre-qualified offer over a similar offer from someone who isn't. What do they mean by that? My client can do 20% down on this house and close in 20 days, versus my client can put 5% down on this house and close in 30 days. Those offers might be $1,000 to $2,000 apart, but they might want to go with the 20% down person just because they just have a stronger, more financially steady background, and they might just want to go with them. So just some things to consider. On the flip side, I've had my 5% down offers, accepted over other realtors' offers who were, actually, I went up against a cash offer and I won. So, so anyway, just stuff to think about. Explain the differences between pre-qualification and pre-approval. Expectation setting, the what's, the when's, the how's. Well, this one's a little bit more important, so I'll read that. Once you place your buyer into the loan officer's hands and an initial evaluation has been made of the buyer's financial strength, it's a good time for you to let the loan officer know what events in the mortgage process you want to know about or not know, and when you want to be updated immediately, daily, or weekly, and how you wish to be contacted, phone, email, or text. You'd be surprised at how widely these preferences vary from agent to agent. And by being clear with your loan officer up front, you remove guesswork and increase the odds for a smoother transaction. During the conversation, be sure to confirm with the loan officer what protocols have been established for communication with your client and any other agents involved in the transaction. Why is this important? I personally get maybe 200 emails a day. If my loan officer just relies strictly on email for conversations, I'm going to miss something. I promise you. I promise you I will miss something. I like to pretend that I'm perfect. I am not. I'm human. I have a life. I'm oftentimes up and about. So I always tell my loan officers, please send me a text message. Whenever you send me an email, please follow it up with a text message. Whenever you send me, when I send it to my buyers, please CC me and send me a text. And frankly, I oftentimes—
You cut off with the last 3 sentences. Can you please repeat them?
Sure. I don't remember where I—
if you're following up with an email, please what?
Please send me a text message. I will always say to my loan officers, my escrow, the other agent on the other side, if you're sending me an email and need me to look at it, send me a text message to follow up and make sure I know that you sent me that email. And it's very important for me because I get over 200 emails a day. If you're just relying strictly on email, I'm probably going to miss it. I probably won't miss it because I go through all my emails daily, but instead of getting it when you sent it to me, I might get it at like 5 p.m. when everything kind of settles down and I'm home and I'm just reviewing stuff. And I'm like, oh, shoot, the lawyer for the sale just said, we got to move on this. Oh my gosh, whatever. So I always tell people, if you send me something, follow it up with a text message. And I do that with myself as well. So very important stuff. Reinforcing loan requirements to the buyer. Yeah, just make sure that we have really strict, really clear conversations with our buyers. We want to encourage them to be responsive to all the information requests, set expectations to the buyer with the lender to ask for numerous documents at the beginning of the process. We'll follow up with requests and also likely the project. So anyway, so there's going to be a lot of documents that your buyer is going to have to go through once they're getting, through the loan approval process and everything. You're going to want to have a really frank conversation with them. Over the next week or so, we're going to be getting a lot of stuff sent to you in your email for you to personally review, for you to get, tax information and all this kind of stuff. We have to be timely in this. We have to, prioritize it, as much as we can. And make sure that, if you need to wait on something, you communicate that with me so I can have a conversation with them. So very, very important to do that. Unexpected events. Life continues to happen during the mortgage process, which occasionally can change the circumstances of the deal. Be sure your buyers know the importance of communication of any changes as soon as possible. Contact your loan officer immediately upon learning that the buyer has changed jobs, gotten divorced, or married, or if something has happened to the property that will lead to a renegotiated contract. A good lender can scramble and find viable loan alternatives, but time is of the essence. Oh my gosh, my favorite is, hey, we're about to close and we just bought 2 new cars. fuck, you know, the deal's dead. So we want to have those conversations ahead of time. Like, you know, hey, listen, you know, now that we've gotten our pre-approval done, we want to remember, try not to use your credit cards if you can. Try not to buy any purchases, you know, big purchases on your that might be reliant on credit. Why is that? And give them an example. You know, my Ignite instructor Jared was in escrow once, and his buyers went ahead and bought a car at the last minute, and the deal fell through. Why? Because there was a hit on their credit, and their credit score changed, and no longer could the lender close on the deal. The over and under debt ratio changed because now you're assuming more debt. You know, there's a million and one reasons why. So make sure we have those conversations up front. So anyway, all this stuff is pretty standard, but we want to have very, very clear communications with our team. The way I look at it is escrow, your lender, title, they're all part of your team, and you're the quarterback. You want to have communication, or the point guard. You want to be able to have communications with all these people at all times of the transaction. You want to let them know that you want them to bug you if something comes up on their end immediately, and not just, you know, the next day. I want you to send me a text message if anything changes. And by the by, I want a weekly update or a bi-weekly update, whatever it might be. But you want to be in constant contact. Okay, so got the appointment. That's all fun. Let's do some scripts. So this just goes over to the A, B, and C buyers. So again, the A buyer, you're going to want to talk to them immediately. Get them in the car immediately, 100%. You are going to be calling those people weekly, maybe twice a week even, maybe every day, depending on the person. B buyers, identify what needs to happen first, and then to achieve their goal. Put them in your database and put them on an 8x8 touch campaign based on their interest, and keep in touch. The C buyer, the one who's a year from now or wants that specific home on a specific street, that one you're going to put them on a 33 touch campaign so you stay top of mind. All right. So let's do some scripts. Schedule the appointment for the buyer consultation. Who is available? Who wants to do a little role play with me? All right, sounds good. I'll do it with myself. So, okay, the property at 123 Maple Street is listed at $249,000. Let's schedule an appointment to see if 123 Maple Street, excuse me, is a perfect home for you. Would today at 4 o'clock or Saturday at 10 a.m. be better for you? Saturday at 10. Great. Let's meet at my office so while we are out, you can also review other properties on the multiple listing service that you might be interested in if Maple Street isn't right for you. Does that work for you? Now, why do I want them to meet me at my office as well?
Because it's dangerous to meet with somebody you don't know.
That is very true.
I mean, especially if you're a woman, I don't know.
100%. Ellie, 1,000,000%. And I agree with that. So also, guys and girls, if you're meeting a stranger, try to meet them in a neutral location first so you can kind of, you know, feel them out a little bit. Office is great. The other reason why that I want to do that is they have to come back to my office once we're done showing houses. And that means we can get the offer out that day. So let's say they see a house that they love. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing house. We want to write an offer. Great, let's get back to the office and write this offer up right now. And that way, if there's any questions, you can go over the contract in person. You're typing it all up. They're right there in front of you. They don't have an excuse. Oh, I need to go to dinner right now. I can't sign the contract yet. Let me think about it. You can get them to go ahead and DocuSign that document right there in front of you. And if there's any questions that they have, you can answer them right on the spot. The other thing is that they said, let's get a couple other houses up on the MLS. So while we're out and about, we can go take a look at other properties. So you're also getting a little bit of a buyer consultation opportunity there as well. So, but Ellie is absolutely right. I've had some really weird buyers, frankly. Sorry, I was doing a lease and I had this guy who wanted me to go into the back bedroom with him by himself. It was very strange. I actually stood outside the listing and said I was waiting to meet somebody. He weirded me out a lot, frankly. He could have just been weird, but it was a weird situation. So everybody be careful. A lot of weird things happen sometimes. It's very rare, but it certainly happens. Okay, buyer referral. If you have called a referral and the buyers have been willing to answer questions and stay on the phone with you, they have the potential to be a serious buyer. Demonstrate that your service has value to them and focus on the benefits to the buyer. Schedule the appointment for the buyer consultation. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'd like to invite you to come to my office so we can discuss what you are looking for in your next home. And then also while we're there, we can use the MLS to review properties. This way we can search for homes that fit your criteria. When we meet at my office, we can work together to make the most out of your time. I can use the tools I have to find the best matches for you and check for any contingencies and other details that would not be apparent from a property visit alone. Are weekends or holidays better for you? Perfect. And I think this goes to what we were saying. The safe option is to schedule buyer consultations in your office or a conference room in your market center. This positions you as a professional, allowing you to take charge and direct the process. Once you have a buyer in your office, you have a good chance of representing that individual. Big stuff. And it's a safer place too. So great. So buyer consultation. Delve into their needs, their wants, their values of your buyers. Showcase your service and educate and set expectations for how you will work together. Walk away with a signed agreement, the buyer representation agreement. The buyer consultation is what the customer experience is all about. You are devoting your full attention to your buyer, which shows that you can care deeply, that you care deeply about finding them the right home. You are bringing your complete skill sets to the table, which demonstrates your ability to provide the kind of expertise and perspective that will enable them to make a confident, informed decision. The buyer consultation is possibly the most critical point when working with buyers, because it is how you turn your appointment into a signed buyer representation agreement. Again, remember I said in the beginning of this class, the most important thing that we're going to be focusing on right now is the buyer representation agreement and the consultation. Because if you do the buyer consultation correctly, you're not convincing them to sign an agreement. They want to sign the agreement with you. Because if you have 2 out of 3 people work with the first agent that they meet. So right there, you're already ahead of the game. Now they're in your office. You have an opportunity to go over all the different things that could happen in the transaction, how you're the expert in the area, how you're going to make sure that you identify the problems that could be potentially coming up. And then at the end of it, you go, so great. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things involved in this process. I'd love to be the agent that represents you. And as you can see, I'm going to give you my 100% undivided attention and work on your behalf. So to do that, I'd like us to go ahead and sign the buyer representation agreement. This basically just states that you and I are going to work together to find you a property, and I will give you my undivided attention. Here's the paperwork. Once you sign, we can get going. Sounds pretty natural at that point, doesn't it? I'm not trying to convince anybody to sign. I'm just saying that this is the normal process of what happens when you're working with an agent. Now, if they all of a sudden bring up, oh, I've never signed a buyer representation agreement. Oh, I understand it. You know, back in the day, we didn't really used to use that, but it's pretty standard now in the industry. And usually that right there kind of takes care of it, and they go ahead and they sign. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, let's take a look at the 8 steps of the buyer consultation. Set the stage. You only have one chance to make a great first impression. Take the time to show that you appreciate them, listen and clarify what they're looking for in a home and what they expect from a professional. Okay, so we're going to be going over the buyer consultation right now. And this essentially is what everybody has in their booklet. You can also find this in Command for a buyer consultation. And essentially what's going to be going over, it's all about you. My real estate business has been built around one guiding principle. It's all about you, your needs, your dreams, your concerns, your questions, your finances, your time, and your life. I will work with you to understand your unique lifestyle needs and wishes, because buying a home is more than a certain number of bedrooms or a particular zip code. It's about your life, and it's important to me. My focus is on your complete satisfaction. In fact, I work to get the job done so well, you will want to tell your friends and associates about me. Maybe it's whatever. So I want to use that. That's a little hokey. But more importantly, it's all about them. The second page will explain the benefits of working with you. This is where you will be able to sell your superior customer experience that you'll provide them. What you get from me: a knowledgeable and professional realtor who represents you, thorough consultation to determine your unique wants and needs in a home, advice on making offers based on expert market evaluation so you don't overpay, a committed ally who will complete your purchase contract, present your offer, and negotiate on your behalf. We are professional negotiators, by the way. Preparation of all closing documents and guidance through the closing process. Assistance with any post-close issues. The backing of a trusted company, Keller Williams Realty. As part of my services, I will commit to helping you find your home by organizing and scheduling homes to view based on your unique specifications, personally touring homes and neighborhoods with you, keeping you informed of new homes on the market, advising you and you of other homes that have sold and how much, working with you until we find the home of your dreams. So these are all very important stuff, and I love it. Educate your buyers. Information is power. Absolutely. You want to give them a 6-step guide to buying a home. First, number one is choosing a realtor. Choose the best real estate agent to represent you and finding your purchasing your dream home, and sign a buyer agency agreement to work together. Boom. So I forget who said it. Do we have any scripts that we can have that don't sound so much like you're teaching? And I think I said, that's why we do the buyer consultation. It's right there in the actual consult. It explains why you do it right here in the actual consultation. So you're not really trying to sell them. You're presenting to them like, this is just how it works. You know, if you go to a doctor's office and they say, okay, so you have a sprained ankle, I'm going to give you this and I'm going to give you that, and I need you to do this. You're going to go, okay, doc, sounds good. So sometimes it's kind of just how you word it. If you word it like, and maybe you'd like to sign a buyer representation agreement. Do I have to? Well, no. Then you got a problem. But Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be meeting with you. First thing in this home buying process is you need to choose a realtor. Obviously, somebody who's going to represent you and your best interests at heart. The first step of doing that is signing the buyer exclusive representation agreement. And it's an important part so you can trust your agent that you'll be spending a lot of time with, and your agent will help you with one of the biggest financial commitments of your time. So boom, right there, that's already checked off the box. Obtain financial pre-approval. We explained the pre-approval process. View homes and find the one. We go through the viewing process. But the main thing that I want to point out is right off the top, it's saying, let's sign the exclusive agreement. So in my opinion, that is the most important thing about this buyer consultation. It sets the stage. Six steps continued. Make your offer, get inspections and negotiate repairs, final review of the contract to close. So at that point, you might even want to have the buyer representation agreement already on the table. And you go, and by the by, here's a buyer representation agreement. It basically just states that we're going to be working together, that I'm going to get your best interests at heart. And when I sign, it says I will be your fiduciary. Word it like that. Don't even say that you're now locked into working with me. Word it as, this is my agreement to you as well, that I will be your fiduciary in the process. Boom, done. So funding your home purchase. We already went over that and all that fun stuff. Process of funding, underwriting, loan approval, title company funding. So this goes over the process of everything that we're going to go throughout escrow, making the offer, the price, the move-in date, the additional properties. Oftentimes the seller plans on leaving major appliances in the home. However, which items stay or go is often a matter of negotiation. We will represent the offer to present the offer to the listing agent and/or seller. The seller will then do one of the following: accept the offer, reject the offer, counter the offer. So essentially, we're going over the entire process for them ahead of time. We're also going to tell them, this is what you should expect for closing. Prepare for it. A certified check of your closing costs and a down payment. Make the check payable to yourself. You will then endorse it to the title company at closing. An insurance binder and paid receipt, photo IDs, social security numbers, addresses for the past 10 years. Own it, transfer the property, deliver the buyer's funds, deliver the deed. So we're already basically going over the entire process. And when you do that, let me ask you, has anybody on this call purchased a home?
Yeah, me, but not in the States.
Perfect. Did your agent go over all of this with you ahead of time?
I was the agent because I used to work in real estate. So it was an investment for me.
Well, you're not helping me, so.
Sorry.
Okay, I will tell you the honest truth. Most agents do not go through all of this with their buyers. I will admit, I don't always go through it all with my buyers, but every single time I have, they left with going, "Oh my gosh, he knows everything. He's so on it. Oh my gosh, I feel."
I said this to myself.
Yeah, good. Perfect. So by doing this, though, it sets the stage that you are the expert in the area. Yeah, so all good stuff. Okay, so explain closing costs and using the following scripts. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, before we tour homes, let's discuss closing costs. Generally, if you put 20% down on your house, you can expect your closing costs to be an additional 3% of the purchase price. So if you're purchasing a $200,000 house, the down payment would be $40,000, and your closing costs would be an additional $6,000 for a total of $46,000. If you put down less than 20%, your closing costs may be as high as 4%. Hi, Archer. How are you? If anybody hears any whining, my dog is looking at me like, why aren't you playing with me? We could be running around and at the park, but you're just talking to a computer screen. Sorry, Archer. I love you. There are two options for buyers who might not have enough money for closing costs. These options are more likely to work in a buyer's market. Ask the seller to cover the closing costs. That could happen in a buyer's market. Ask sellers to help them roll the cost into a loan by paying the cost themselves and raising the price of the home up to make the difference. That can certainly happen. Note, the sales price will have to be in line with the appraisal to satisfy a lender. All right. So these are the buyer consultation continued. I'm not going to go over all of it in the interest of time because it's already 2 o'clock. Okay, so closing the buyer representations. We asked in the beginning of this class, are there any scripts for close? Archer, come here, bud. Oh, yes, you could be my assistant. Okay, so who asked, are there any scripts that we can use for getting the buyer representation signed? Was it Cindy? I don't know. No, maybe, yes, no. All right.
I'm here. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Did you ask me in the beginning of the class, are there any scripts we can use for buyer representation?
Yes. That was me.
You're going to join me in this little reading right now.
Okay.
So this is all scripts for asking for the buyer representation. There are there's 1, 2, 3 of them. Yeah, we're going to go through all of them. How about that? So, okay, do you have it open on your end, or can you see
I can see your screen.
Perfect. Ask for the business. Let's go ahead. You'll be the real estate agent. Start with ask for the business, what I have highlighted. I'm going to let my dog out of the room.
Should I start while you do that?
Yep, absolutely. I can hear you.
All I ask in this exchange for my superior customer service promise is that you agree to work with me exclusively. Does this sound fair?
Absolutely.
Okay, we can sign and shake on that. Provide the buyer with buyer representation agreement, explain it, and have them sign it, then shake hands. And because of COVID, I think we would be tapping elbows.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So I'll be the next one. You'll be the buyer for this one.
Okay.
The buyer representation agreement number 1. What we're going to do now is sign the buyer representation agreement, which puts me to work for you. You're going to give me the tool that I need to represent you in the purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal. And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let's do the right thing, sign the buyer representation agreement, and put me to work for you. So that's another that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
The other one right over here, if you can read closing the buyer representation agreement number 2.
Can you see how it would benefit you if you have a professional realtor like myself looking out for your best interest as such as you search for the best home and negotiate to get the best deals ever?
Absolutely. I can see why it's important.
Great. This form allows me to represent you and look out for your best interests, not mine, but yours, because yours come first. Here's how we take care of that. You just need to okay this agreement right here.
Perfect. Where do I sign? So yeah, I think that's a really good one too. So you can see how working with a professional would benefit you. If you sign this right here, I can get to work for you. All right. So let's read number 3. I'll be the agent. We call this agreement our loyalty agreement. It's where I agree to be loyal to you and take no action detrimental to your best interest. It's a reciprocal agreement in that I ask you give me your loyalty in exchange for me working nonstop to find you the best home at the lowest price at the least amount of time. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Great, sign here. Now, there might be some objections to the exclusive agreement. Not all buyers will say yes. Some buyers will object to working exclusively with you. If a buyer objects to signing, use the script below. So anyway, let's do this one. You got this one.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Buyer. Because of the level of service I provide, I can only work with buyers who work exclusively with me. Let me remind you that by signing, you are not agreeing to pay me a fee. You are agreeing to have me represent your best interest and to use my knowledge and expertise along with my beautiful amount of plentiful resources to find you the best home at your best price. This is what you want, isn't it? To find the best home for the best price?
Totally, 100%. Definitely. Boom. So objection number 1, I don't want to sign anything. I want to be free to work with other agents. So what I would say to that is when you engage me as your real estate sales representative, you give me the tool that I need to represent you. If you sign the buyer representation agreement with me, I am contractually obligated to share any information about the seller situation that I find out. For example, if it's a divorce, relocation, or estate sale. Without the agreement in place, I am actually a sub-agent to the seller. That means I do not represent you and I cannot share the information with you. I want to be your advocate, not theirs. So let's do the right thing and sign the buyer representation agreement today. Now, that doesn't really apply necessarily to us, but I'd still use it. Fuck it. So great. And actually, yeah, we are technically a cooperating agent to the deal. So that one's a little bit shaky, but anyway. Objection 2, what if I change my mind during the 30-day period? I understand completely. Think of this agreement as a form of going steady, not a marriage. If you decide at any time that you don't want to go steady anymore, we can break up. There's no need for a divorce, and you can break up with me if I'm not meeting your expectations. If you feel comfortable with that, you can just be okay with the agreement and your initials. I like that one, actually. That one's my favorite. Objection number 3, I don't need to work with an agent because I can find a home on my own through the internet. Searching for homes is a fun part. We will certainly use the internet to find your home. Finding your home is not why you hire a buyer's agent. You hire an agent to help you get the house you find. My job is to protect your interests throughout the home buying process and negotiate on your behalf to get the home in the best price and the best terms. I use that all the time, not even just for getting them to sign a buyer agreement. When I have somebody going like, I've even had people I'm working with like going like, well, you know, Jared, you didn't send me this home. I found it on Zillow. So I was thinking you're going to send me these homes, blah, 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 blah. But I'm looking on Zillow all the time. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I understand that. Listen, any Joe Schmo could get in front of Zillow and start typing in, you know, stuff and looking for properties. Unfortunately, I am working with other clients, so I'm not always in front of my computer 24/7. You don't need me to tell you what type of home you like. You know what home you like, not me. So with that said, the only reason why you would work with an agent is for their expert negotiation skills, their understanding of the contract, and any pitfalls that might occur during the escrow process. Have you ever purchased a home before? No. Great. I'm just letting you know the contract is whatever. And so then they go, okay, yeah, maybe I do want to work with you. Never mind. So I always like to say it's not my job necessarily to search for you. It's my job to represent you. So know when to let a buyer go. Keep in mind that sometimes you have to say no. If you are not able to agree on a win-win solution, you may spend a considerable amount of time showing homes to a buyer only to have them eventually purchase with someone else. If a buyer refuses to work exclusively with you, you may choose to let them go, especially if you feel like there is a possibility that they would buy from another agent, such as a friend, relative of theirs. Be sure to ask great questions to uncover why they won't sign. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, listen, I appreciate your decision. Since I can only work with buyers who will exclusively work with me, I'll have to just wish you luck in your home search. Thanks again for coming in to meet with me today, and let me know if if you change your mind. Now, I have only fired 2 people in my career. And each time I did, they turned around and they said, no, I'm sorry, I want to work with you. And surprisingly enough, that is a very good tactic for a lot of people. A lot of people watch $1 Million Listing LA, or this or whatever Bravo TV is on, or whatever Selling Sunset, and they think that it's like this drama-filled business, and it's not. It's, listen, if you can't agree to work with me, then I can't agree to invest all my time in you. And then they when you put it in that term, they sometimes go, oh shit. Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, I do this for a living, and you turn around on them, and oftentimes turn the tables, makes them kind of think a little bit more, forward thinking. So in any event, so with that said, I think we're going to break for today because I don't want to keep you for too long. Another little quick thing I just wanted to go over real quick. Whenever we're doing these needs analysis or buyer consultation, listen and take notes. Ask them if it's okay you take notes. You're actually not saying that to really ask. You're saying that to let them know that you're taking notes, because it helps. And it kind of makes them go, oh, wow, they really care about what I'm saying. Be very specific. You can't meet or exceed a buyer's wants and needs and values if you don't know what they are. Ask questions to dig deeper. I had a person who went, I have a lease listing that I just signed, and she said, I was like, okay, well, when are your current renters moving out? Because I need to know. She's like, well, let's just have conversations and see when somebody can move in. I'm negotiable. I'm like, you don't understand. That doesn't give me any leverage to qualify people for you. If it's just kind of breezy and up in the air, they don't even know if it's real. So it needs to be very exact. When can we have people move in? So we found out that answer, and she's like, oh yeah, I do need to be exact. Ask outside the ideal. For example, buyers may mention a ranch style home is their ideal, but they may like Cape Cod styles as much. So you always want to go, great, so are Cape Cod styles okay? I know you said ranch, but do you like Cape Cod styles? Whatever. Never assume. If you aren't entirely clear on something, to a buyer, ask for clarification. Ask about household, not family. Asking about a person's family could be a violation of fair housing laws. Interesting. Make it, I don't know the difference of that actually. Make it, oh, I see. Who lives in your household, not who's in your family. Okay, that makes sense. Make it a dialogue. Take advantage of this time to build rapport as well by keeping the tone conversational and not interrogational. Very good. Okay, you know what? One last thing before we go. I'm going to play a video, and then after this video, we are done. We are done for the day, and I want to thank you all for sticking with me until 2:13. 1 second, I'll get the video up and running. And after that, we are done for the day. Buyer's needs analysis. Good stuff. Just want to make sure I'm on the right thing.
Needs analysis, the systematic process of collecting information about needs, wants, and desires that is used to establish and define goals. Step 2 of the buyer consultation is the needs analysis. Only when you understand what is ultimately important to your customers can you deliver it. Many agents ask their clients, "What do you want in a house?" and stop there. They don't realize the answer to that question isn't the same as "What do you need?" or "What's important to you?" Determining your customer's core wants, needs, and values is a process. Draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper and write needs on the left and wants on the right, and use it to track their needs and wants as you go through this process. At this point, you will have a clear understanding of what buyers need versus what they want, but you are not done. Now, you want to drill down and uncover their values by finding out why they need and want what they do. Use this question: what about blank is important to you? Let's see how it works. Say your buyer has told you that they want or need a large yard. You say,
"So what's about a large yard that's important to you?"
Your buyer says, "I like to garden." You ask,
"You like gardening, and what's important about gardening?"
Your buyer says, "I like to spend time outdoors. It helps me relax." You ask,
"Makes you feel relaxed, and what's important about being relaxed?"
Your buyer says, "When I'm relaxed, I can spend more quality time with my wife." Bullseye. A large yard equals family. At this point, you have uncovered a value. You can now look for other ways it applies to your buyer.
A large yard is important because it allows you to spend quality time with your wife, correct? So what else about your new home would be important to you in terms of spending more time with your wife?
Beautiful. So, very important to be making sure we're covering all our needs and all that fun stuff. All right. So before we go, there any? Okay. Very cool, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any questions before we go? Or are we good?
Very good.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Today was a little bit longer. Thank you for staying focused and in the meeting. Have a great day, everybody. Make sure you're making your contacts. And somebody go sign a listing, why don't you? Cheers. Have a great one, y'all. I am outro. Have a great one. Bye.
Thank you.